Samsonov needs to stop the bleeding. He hasn't played well in his last 4 games. Matt Murray hasn't played well in his last few starts. One of these guys is going to need to turn this thing around and make saves when you need to make saves, and just makes the saves that you're supposed to make.
Absolutely. So the Leafs working their way in after a day off, and Sheldon Keefe talked about the day off.
Yeah, I think it's just that, just energizing. I mean, it's been been a longer week. We were debating whether to take Wednesday off or Friday, and ultimately decided that Friday, given that it's right before the back-to-back, made sense. But also just coming off that game in Seattle and the way that it went, I think it's good to clear their heads a little bit and come back today refreshed and ready to get back at it.
Although you wanted to give the current group of guys some runway, was there any contemplation after how the other night went to maybe some subtle tweaks?
Yeah, nothing outside of what we normally do, which is just discuss, everybody feels about the lineup and any potential changes, but ultimately I just think anytime you come off a loss like that, you want to give the group another opportunity to go. So really just settled with that, didn't spend too much time on it.
You have to guard against Sheldon as coach, any type of lull between the Christmas and the All-Star break in this month right now. And, I know we're hitting the midterm or midpoint of the season, but just kind of get through the team.
Yeah, I think that's natural. I don't know whether you can point it to All-Star break and Christmas and all of those kind of things, but I think there's ebbs and flows of the season. Most teams go through that. There's been a couple that really haven't, that obviously have really separated themselves from the pack, and we've done a pretty good job clearly, through November and December of putting ourselves in a good spot, not having too many dips. But, right now it's been a little bit inconsistent in terms of our results, so you want to get that back. But in terms of guarding against it, I mean, we alluded to a little bit just in talking about the amount of home games we have in January and all of that, and not getting too complacent or comfortable with that, and getting outside the regular rhythm. Sometimes getting on the road and having those road trips are galvanizing and are good and healthy. So when you don't have that, you got to really rely upon staying sharp and taking care of things and yourself when you leave the rink and go home and all of that. So those are the kind of things I'm more conscious of in just managing our schedule. Sometimes when you get on the road, it naturally in itself, you get a little more rest because you're conscious of it. You don't practice as much, and when you're at home, you tend to practice more, you have more time, it's a little more convenient. So just that balance of making sure we don't overdo it, keep the guys fresh, because as much as it's a lot of home games, we are going to be playing a lot of games. And this week, it's 4 games this week here, and it's just a good example of how we've got to be really purposeful with how we manage the group.
How can you take advantage too of the fact that the next almost 2 months, you guys, your travel's short, so you're not going on long trips?
Yeah, like I was saying, you look at it, and yes, you would think it's an advantage. You don't have to travel as far. As I was saying, though, I think there are some benefits to these road trips. You can get away. It's different. It breaks up the schedule. When you look at it on a calendar, it doesn't look like much, but these trips where you kind of bounce in and out, and you get 1 game on the road and you come back home and you play, and then you go back on the road for a day or 2 and come right back. Those trips aren't easy either, because you don't never really get settled anywhere, and then before long, home starts to feel like the road. So that's all just the natural stuff that the schedule brings. So it happens to come to us here in January, and we should be excited to play on home ice, but there's a lot of other things that go into it. We've got to be really, really good about managing to make sure that we can optimize this.
And that is Sheldon Keefe talking about the game off, or the day off yesterday. Game tonight, game tomorrow night in Philadelphia. Things happen fast.
Rest is important. Every player is different. I know some guys who they get in a rhythm, they get on a roll, and they don't necessarily want too much time off. They want to stay in the zone. And then there's some guys, Jimmy, who hate coming to the rink, and they need days off or else they will be miserable. I don't know what the guys on this team are like. There's a lot of young guys, a lot of really good pros. I think the more you empower players to make good decisions and take care of their bodies, the more initiative they take in that, and the better professionals they become. And one thing about this organization, they're very dialed in when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Everything they do has a lot of thought behind it. So if they're taking days off and, it's been well thought out, I always like a little more rest. I don't know about you. Like, you're a workhorse. I know you're doing 5-6 days in a row right now.
I always think that one thing leads to another.
Well, the thing is, you traveled back from Moncton and Halifax. You were out there, and now here you are. You're doing Raptors. You're doing
nasty. I just want to point out there's something going on the ice right now. Indigenous Celebration Night, and we'll go to the ceremony when it gets official, when they introduce everybody, which will be in about 2 minutes from now. But to your point, the way you describe the Leaf organization is totally accurate. And when you go through all of that description, you realize the only thing that's missing is playoff success.
It's
Everything
crazy.
else is there.
It's unbelievable. And I think I said this on Overdrive earlier in the week, but this regime, this organization, since everyone has been here, has done way too many things right, and with the right purpose and the right thought for this team to not eventually have playoff success. And you just think the law of averages, Mike Johnson says this all the time, just the law of averages would suggest that at some point a team that goes to the playoffs that many times is destined to win one round. And it's crazy that it's almost hard to celebrate certain moments within the organization, like Austin Matthews getting to 500 points, right? Like the 60 goals last year. It's almost under-celebrated because of the lack of playoff success.
I'm going to give you 2 points, 2 tips. One tip is when you're investing and your investor guy says to you, everybody's doing it, get out.
Oh, no,
Get out right away, because it's time to get out. And the other one is when you predict what's going to happen, because it always happens a certain way, that's a negative, that's the time to change the direction.
You are something until the day you're not. And that's what the Maple Leafs are right now. They lose in the first round until that one day that they finally get past the first round, and then who knows? Like, that's the thing. It's almost like you and I talked about this one night. It was like, as soon as the Leafs get one goal, there's going to be 2 and 3 because the floodgates are going to open.
Yeah.
Like, that's very well could be the situation with the Leafs in the playoffs this year. You just get past the first round, it's like the floodgates could get open, but I still do believe they need a little more firepower up front.
Well, and they need to straighten out the goaltending, don't they?
Oh, how did I skip over the goaltending?
Oh, yes, guy.
Yes, guy. Yeah, they need to straighten out the goaltending. The thing is, they have a lot of time to do it, so I'm not concerned. And the 2 guys in net this season, with the little body of work they have with this team, have showed that they can be very, very good goaltenders. At one point, Ilya Samsonov had not only the best numbers in the league, but the best advanced numbers, which is also very, very impressive.
So Samsonov going in goal for the Leafs tonight, and he looks minuscule compared to the big goaltender for Detroit, Magnus Hellberg, who has to be at least 6'6".
Yeah, he's huge. And you talked about Detroit's goaltending. They have a little bit of a logjam with 3 guys who are NHL capable, and for the Leafs, they have this tandem. They have a tandem that they're going to lean on, and the answers are from within. Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov have to find a way to right the ship here, although there is a lot of runway for them to do it.
Absolutely. So, because it's Indigenous Celebration Night, we're going to send you over to Mike Ross, the PA announcer here at Scotiabank Arena, to continue on with the official proceedings.
In recognition of Indigenous Celebration Night, we now ask that you please rise if you're able to, remove your hats, and welcome Chief Stacy Laforme of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for tonight's land acknowledgement.
Ani, which means hello. We give thanks to the Creator. We acknowledge the world around us and understand our place within it. We acknowledge the many nations that walk this land in the past. The Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat. We acknowledge the many nations that walk this land today and welcome you to the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Anishinaabe. I want to say miigwech, which means thank you. And since there are no words for goodbye in our language, we say bamapi makwagman, which means we'll see you again later. Miigwech.
And now, please remain standing.
The opening face-off is next. This is Most Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans.
This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray. New Year's resolutions, Tommy.
I'm not going to break as many tablets.
Good resolution.
Yeah, and I'm just going to stay physically fit.
You going to try any carbs this year?
That's cruel.
I think you should finally learn what all the hype's about.
That's right. Some pizza, some burgers. That was my childhood. That's why I was a 6th-round pick.
Download Let's Go right now on the SXM app or wherever you get your podcasts. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Tom Money here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the three of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy.
Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. We deliver the NHL.
Ovi, since 2005, he's number 4 in hits. That's strange. I've never seen that before. And then you can talk about the players that are in the same realm of his greatness. Ovi's got like more than 2,000 hits on Sidney Crosby. And Sid doesn't play a soft game. That just shows what Ovi has done. I'm amazed at his durability, competing at that level. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. I mean, it's crazy.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Where's Bill Daly, Deputy Commissioner of the NHL? Ryan Reynolds, you guys, and the Senators. What's the real truth on that story?
He has come in and visited with the Commissioner and myself a couple weeks ago. He's a very impressive guy, very enthusiastic, passionate about our sport, which we love.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. SiriusXM NHL Network Radio is 24/7 hockey talk.
What a save!
With insiders, analysis, and all the breaking news.
This just in, a trade in the NHL.
And the biggest games of the night.
Down low and a chance on the back door. Ovechkin scores!
Here comes McDavid. Back score!
Number 99, Wayne Gretzky, is on the line with us.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on demand with the SXM app. The Point.
I think Preds fans are right. We're sick and tired of being good enough to be not good enough. At some point, you have to acknowledge the model isn't working, and you have to find a way to get elite scoring talent if you want to go best on best in the playoffs. Roman Yossi's a really admirable dude, but after 25 years, a defenseman just can't be your leading scorer. Cannot.
The Point with Boomer Gordon. Weekdays 1 p.m. Eastern. NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Don't miss out on the Premier League, Champions League, and Major League Soccer. Hear all the action on SiriusXM FC 157.
The Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings colliding here on a Saturday night. And the face-off is brought to you by Alpine Credits. Do you own your own home and need a loan? Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca. Magnus Hellberg will get the call-in goal for the Detroit Red Wings. He's never played against the Maple Leafs. He's 3-2-0 this year with a 2.58 goals against average and a .906 save percentage. And Ilya Samsonov, 11-3-1, 2.38 goals against average overall and a .914 save percentage. He is 2-0-0 lifetime against Detroit. Gets the start for Toronto, and the Leafs are going to have to play a much better game from goal on out than they did the other night against the Seattle Kraken. And we're underway, and glad you're along with us as Marner gets it ahead. Yarncrook sends it deep into the corner. Tavares after it as it goes around back of the net. Red Wings will corral it, and it's flipped out into the center ice area. Foot race here with Lucas Raymond that is won by the icing call made by Shander Alfonso, former Sudbury Wolf. Keel Murchison is the other linesman. Giselle Hebert and Peter McDougall are the referees.
Well, here's the good news. We've talked so much about the streaks against Arizona, St. Louis on home ice.
Are you telling me, Mr. Ralph,
we got a good one?
Yes. Yes.
8 straight. The Leafs have won against Detroit, and points in 14 straight. How's that?
I love it. Red Wings unable to clear as it goes around back of the net for Nylander. Nylander works into the corner, is tripped up, and there's going to be a penalty. Moritz Seider took him down, and the Leafs get an extra man on the ice, and the puck comes out at center, but it's going to be whistled down on the offside.
Well, Willie Nylander does this to a lot of teams. Keeps hanging on to it in the offensive zone until eventually the Leafs get a scoring chance or the opposition's forced to take a penalty. And Moritz Seider, last year's Calder Trophy winner, has had a tough time this season. Nylander may have gone down a little early, a little easily on that play, but the Leafs will take it.
54 seconds, the time of the penalty, and the power play is brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Own winter with legendary standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. For uncommon winter capability, visit your Subaru dealer. Cleared right off the bat by a face-off win by Detroit, and the Leafs have to go back to organize.
Detroit 0 for 2 on the penalty kill against Florida last night. And killed off just 7 of the last 16 times short.
Brought out at center ice now by Marner. He drops the puck back for Matthews to the red line and in on the left wing for Tavares. Cross ice pass to find the defense on the far side, and Nylander now into Tavares. Tavares gets it back to Marner. Marner left wing side for Matthews. Matthews spinning it back to Marner at the blue line to the one side, and a one-timer by Tavares went well wide and didn't really have an awful lot attached to it. Tavares again on the far half boards. Leafs moving from right to left as the centering pass to Matthews, and he whipped it over top of the goal. Near side now for Nylander. Back to Marner, who closes with a shot. That's blocked. The rebound, set it in front, and Tavares just failed to tap it home. Kept in at the blue line by Nylander. Now to Matthews. Spun back to Willie. Now back to Matthews again, and a pass goes off the skate of Tavares. It's down into the corner. Played around the boards, but Marner is there to trap it and keep it in. He works to the middle of the ice and dishes off to Nylander. Pass went from off a skate, goes back at the net. Tavares trying to control it. Still free as it's punched along the boards and finally grabbed off by Larkin, and he's going to bring it to center. Larkin trying to get around Matthews. Larkin into the corner. No defenseman out there, but Marner is able to take the puck away from them, and now around back at the net.
Well, with all that great pressure and good passing, the Leafs do not get a shot on goal.
Second unit over the boards. Here's Engvall, left wing feed for Sandin. Fed around the wall into the corner. It goes back at the net. Yarncrook trying to find some skating room. Got it freed up for Holmberg around the boards. It'll come to the near side. Sandin can't get it back to the blue line. And when it's grabbed off now by Detroit, the penalty has expired. And the Red Wings have killed it off. Morgan Riley coming out of his own end to center. He shoots the puck down around the boards to the far side. Trapped over there by Jonathan Bergen. Back to the point it comes. The Leafs are able to keep it in. Liljegren with a long shot in traffic. That was tipped a little bit in front of the net by Engvall, but slowed up. And Magnus Hellberg is able to cover up on it and hold for a face-off.
Well, Detroit Red Wings, after a decent start of the season, find themselves in 12th spot in the Eastern Conference. The loss to Florida last night puts them a little further behind the Panthers, as Florida's taken over 11th from them. Actually, they're a point ahead of the Red Wings now. But still without the likes of Tyler Bertuzzi and some pretty key pieces for Detroit they've missed since the start of the year.
And they really haven't had the depth to kind of sustain it, have they?
And then we see Siders sort of experiencing the sophomore jinx after winning the Calder last year.
Why has that happened? Did you have a sophomore jinx?
No, I was really bad in my rookie year. So, just kind of took the pressure off.
Right. You know, some people actually think we rehearse this stuff.
None that I've talked to.
I don't believe it. Camp turns the puck over here. Sundqvist coming from a sharp angle of shot. That was stopped. The rebound is shot on goal. And down to come across to take that at the side of the net is Ilya Samsonov, and he's going to hold on.
Timothy Liljegren got caught watching at the right wing boards. The puck was chipped past him, and that was the lane to the net. T.J. Brodie took away the pass across the top of the crease, so Samsonov could concentrate on the shot coming off the right side and makes his first stop of the game, and it's a good one.
Draw controlled by Toronto. Fed off a skate to the line and out. Sherratt will shoot it back into the Toronto end for Detroit. Leafs with it, back of the net. Into the corner and up on the wing for Nylander. Poked out at center. Brought on by Matthews. I kind of thought it was going to be offside. Yeah. The puck went off his skate, and then it was into his off his stick, and then it was into his skates, and we couldn't see it because it was right up against the boards to see whether it was offside, but the linesman on the other side of the rink says it was, and the whistle stopped play. No score, first period. Glad you're along with us. As the Red Wings get the puck to center, and it is flipped down into the Toronto zone. In around back of the net goes Matthews to play it up on the wing, but it won't clear. Kept in at the point, a long shot in traffic, blocked by Matthews in front, and he's able to play it out into the center ice area. Nylander had roared out to the other blue line. Alb Hall able to get the puck freed up for Nylander, who swings it around on the wall. Matthews bounces it, but it is kept in at the blue line by Dylan Larkin, and the Maple Leafs have to go back to retrieve the puck and reorganize. Mark Giordano coming straight up ice to center on the left wing, wires it around the boards into the far corner. The Red Wings unable to come up with it cleanly the first time, but do the second and get it out at center. Brought on by Lucas Raymond into the Toronto zone. Spun off the puck as it goes in against the end boards with Morgan Rielly there. Rielly got it to Tavares, and he makes a nice play to get it to Marner. Marner faked the pass, gets in over the line, and was knocked down. And now here are the Red Wings trying to break back the other way, but an errant pass is now having to be shot into the zone by Lucas Raymond. Knocked down on the play in the corner there was Brodie. Back on his skates to play it up on the boards. Cut off by Raymond. Raymond works back for Detroit to the blue line. A long shot by Sherratt on a one-timer. Went over top of the net and wide. Raymond in the corner again. Ran into Brodie with a pretty good elbow there. And now brought on by Morgan Rielly. He's across the line. Right wing side into the slot. Trying to move in front of the goal. Kerfoot made the pass, but unable to finish was Engvall. Tavares unable to come away with it. Heading to the bench now as the Red Wings start out of their own end. Brought through center and flipped into the Toronto zone. Sandin around back of the net. Liljegren propels it up on the wing. Engvall was knocked down from behind. Puck goes free for David Camp. They try to work the boards on the far side without much success. And when it does come free, a centering pass. And a rifle shot went over top of everyone.
That was Dominic Kubalik was wide open in Brett Hullville. Brett Hull made a living of one time in those shots. And it goes glances off something and up and out of play. So the Leafs, a couple of scoring opportunities, but still with only one shot on goal.
It is a 0-0 tie. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hi, it's Billy Joel here. It's back. All my music on my very own channel. New shows, new stories, hosted by Billy. The Billy Joel Channel. On now for a limited time. And in the SXM app, included in all trials and popular plans. Billy Joel, now on Sirius XM Channel 14.
Tom Rennie here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion, even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the three of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy.
Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
The Leafs nothing, the Red Wings nothing. Detroit with a record of 16-14-7 for 39 points. They are 7-6-4 on the road this year. Maple Leafs looking for their 14th win on home ice and their 24th overall this evening as a shot from the blue line deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Red Wings carry the puck around the boards. Wallman working back at the blue line. Now Joe Veleno couldn't come up with it cleanly, and it is punched out at center ice by David Kampf. Hall gets it to the blue line but can't get it in deep, and the Red Wings counter by getting it in over the line. Hall able to knock it into the corner, but the Red Wings are onto it quickly. Played back to the point. A long shot is whistled wide by Seider, just wide of the goal. Leafs are able to get it ahead to Camp, who chips it along, and now Engvall with skating room to his liking at center. Lau flips it into the left wing corner and tries to slide in there after it. It goes around back of the net, played up on the boards. TJ Brody gets there first for the Maple Leafs, having it up against the wall, trying to contain it, but now Zach Aston Reese will add some support. He has the puck freed up. The Leafs trying to get it out in front. They do, but it's tipped wide of the goal by Hunt. Back to the blue line, Morgan Riley keeping it in momentarily, but the Red Wings will regroup it back of the goal. Wallman dropping it off, and here's Moritz Seider now with it at the side of the Detroit goal. 11:46 to go in a scoreless first period. Seider will send it deep into the Toronto end. Nylander punching it in back of the net. Brody now engaged as the puck comes to Holmberg. Pontus Holmberg can't get it up the boards. Red Wings back after it with Sundqvist in the corner, joined by Adam Earn. It comes back on the boards and now played into the corner. Here's a chance now for Sundqvist, getting it in front of the goal, and a shot is whistled over top of the goal by Suter. Puck in against the end boards. Red Wings getting some chances here. The Leafs just get rid of it by flipping it out at center ice and down into Detroit territory, and wholesale changes for the Maple Leafs as a result.
Red Wings have had a tough time in the last 4 or 5 games with their starts, but they've been the sharper team here.
3-1 in shots. A centering pass blocked, but it comes back to the point. Sherratt on the near side. Unable to get the shot away was Philip Hronek. Hronek get into the corner. Sherratt trying to work along back of the net. It comes back into the corner again and collided there. Berggren getting it in front. Now it's sent by Larkin up on the wing, and it is intercepted by Toronto and brought out at center ice. Bunting got it across the line, but had it taken away again, and the Red Wings with a 2-on-1 break. Oh, and a good play made there by Liljegren's stick to break up the 2-on-1. Leafs get it across the line and into the slot. Now for Marner going to the net. He tries to center, and there's going to be a penalty here for hooking onto Marner, made by the back official.
I'm not really sure why the official that was 7 feet away thought it was legit, but the Leafs on one rush. Wallman is still arguing this for the Red Wings, saying that it was simply lifting a stick. But hooking is going to be the call with 10-12 to go here in the opening period, and the Leafs have been on a pretty good roll as far as getting the opening power plays of the game. See if they can cash in on this one. They did not have a shot on goal in the last one. And looking again, you know what? This is not a penalty.
9:48 time of it.
thanks to the technology and video review.
Power play brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Own winter with legendary standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. For uncommon winter capability, visit your Subaru dealer. Second power play opportunity of the period.
Well, at least that answered my question as to why did the near official not make the call.
Probably answered your own question. Yes, you did. Draw one by Toronto. Marner drops for Matthews. His shot was blocked. Matthews then takes down. And you know, it's the same official that made that call. And this one is probably just as iffy. And Matthews is going to the box.
And even though Sheldon Keefe and the Leaf coaching staff are looking at the tablets of the Leaf bench going, are you kidding me? I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Bowen. I mean, it's just Matthews doesn't touch the other player. But I'm fine with this simply because
somebody decided, you know what, I made a mistake.
Yeah, you blew the one call.
Yep.
So now you got both teams unhappy.
Yeah, but then you bring the human element into it, Mr. Ralph, and as we are well aware, that shouldn't be a factor.
Oh.
Now, actually, TJ Brody just got lifted off his skates, and the official was standing right there, and there was no penalty. But making 3 calls within 10 seconds is probably not a good idea.
Especially when only one of them was a legit call.
And it was the last one.
I know.
Here the Red Wings 4-on-4 coming to the Leaf blue line. Kopp works it off a stick, but it's poked out at center by Nylander, carried on by Riley. Riley tipping it off now on the far side. Bunting gets it back to him. Off on the left wing for Brody. Brody to Nylander. Nylander circles back towards the blue line, dishes it back to Morgan Riley. He is going to bring it all the way out at center ice, and the Leafs are trying to get a change organized here.
Well, officially, the penalty to Austin Matthews, and this might be a little suspicious. 2 minutes for looking too good.
Oh, back to the blue line. Sandin over on the far side, and his pass from Liljegren comes all the way out at center.
Remember the Maurice Richard commercials?
Yes.
The Grecian formula?
I can hardly wait for the announcement. Here's Liljegren with a shot that deflects wide of the goal. And now the Red Wings are starting out. Mike Ross may get fired for this. Played down into the corner. Played off the boards to the point. Sider works in, got it into the slot, and a shot by Larkin is swallowed up by Samsonov. So a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. 24 seconds left in the Red Wing penalty, and then a brilliant 8-second power play will come as a result. There's no score. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The first 32 players are in.
He scores!
And this time, it's up to you to choose the rest of the roster with the 2023 NHL All-Star Fan Vote. Which of your favorite players will you send to South Florida?
My goodness! That's an absolute dandy!
You decide. Vote today on the NHL app or NHL.com/vote.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Oh, hi. I'd like to apply for a loan so I can consolidate some of my debts.
Sure. Do you own your home?
Yes. But Carl, our resident ghost, keeps saying it's his house and we should get out.
Okay. But you are the registered owner.
Yes.
Then you're approved.
Hey, hear that, Carl? Huh?
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Go to alpinecredits.ca to get started. Some conditions apply.
Visitor license 12616.
Back here at Scotiabank Arena, members of the gold medal winning Canadian World Junior Champions just introduced. Shane Wright of Burlington, Brennan Opperman of Pickering, Ethan Del Mastro of Burlington, Zach Ostrovchuk of St. Albert, Alberta. I'm not sure why he's still here, but he has to get back to the Vancouver Giants. And Owen Beck of Port Hope, and playing with the two of them play with the Mississauga Steelheads, who will host the Sudbury Wolves tomorrow afternoon out in Mississauga. So congratulations to them. What an exciting final that was, as it is shot into the Detroit zone. Red Wings trying to work up the boards, get it out at center.
Well, we were doing a 5-1 loss for the Leafs against Seattle, and shortly after that was final, a huge eruption from the crowd below because Canada had scored in overtime.
Now a lead pass, and the Red Wings have a breakaway and a goal. They score! All alone up at the blue line was Jake Wallman. And he breaks in alone, and the Red Wings draw first blood on a breakaway.
Mark Giordano was the first defenseman to try to get back. He was on with Justin Hall. And it looked as though Wallman was going to go to the bench for a line change. He saw that neither Hall or Giordano spotted him, so he went, read the play perfect, and went to the far blue line, the Leaf blue line, and waited for the long pass out of the Red Wings zone, and then walks in and puts it under the left arm of Samsonov to give the Red Wings a 1-0 lead.
David Perron brings it in over the line with Larkin. Larkin fanned on a pass. It comes to the blue line. Long shot in front of the goal, and it was off Brody in front of the net. Carried back to the goal then by David Perron. Back to the blue line. Red Wings keeping it in. Perron sends it back at the net. Knocked down on the play there was Berggren. It comes to the side of the goal, still free, and in the skates of the Red Wings as it comes to the point. Long shot taken there by Seider, went over top of the net. Red Wings get it back to Seider again, down low with a deflection by Larkin, went wide. Red Wings in the corner and now full of life here after taking the lead. Maple Leafs intercept a pass and are just going to flip it out into the Detroit end to allow a change of players.
Boy, we're almost 13 minutes into the opening period. The Leafs with just one shot on goal.
Philip Peronic comes to center, sends it in wide of the Toronto goal, and an icing charge is going to come here as the goal from Wallman, his third, comes at 11:57, and it was Oli Mata, that found him and made the great pass.
Like I said, I mean, it was the perfect setup. Wallman comes out of the penalty box, looks like he's just skating over to the Red Wing bench. Looks, sees the puck's turned over, and just bolted for the Leaf line and waited for the long pass. But he just totally faked out Justin Hall and Mark Giordano.
Yeah, they had no idea he was in behind him.
It was one of those nonchalant skates across the ice.
Shot by Marner, went over top of the Red Wing goal. Liljegren against the boards, can't keep it in. It squirts to center ice, and Sandin will hustle back to retrieve it. Sandin to Liljegren. Misfires on a pass. How is that not icing? All right, game on. Here's.
I was going to say, how's that not a glove pass?
Well, that was whistled down, but I'm not sure why that wasn't icing. But at any rate, the faceoff is coming outside the Detroit blue line. 6.5 minutes to go here in period number one. Wallman from Mata is the scoring play.
The good news is the Leafs have only given up 5 shots in this game. The bad, and surprising considering the Leafs have had the only 2-minute power play in this game. Full 2 minutes on the power play. Only have 1 shot on goal.
Shot in by Hall. Down around the boards, it grabbed off and shot wide of the goal by Zach Aston Reese, and it caroms all the way to center ice. Leafs back to retrieve it. Giordano off the stick of Aston Reese in over the line. Into the corner goes Dryden Hunt. Hunt for the Leafs trying to kick the puck free and did so for Zach Aston Reese. He is hauled down from behind. Now knocked down on the play as it comes to the blue line, and after a couple of really iffy calls, the ones that have been penalties have been just dismissed by the officials. Holmberg getting it back to the point as it comes to Giordano. Giordano's shot was blocked, and it's grabbed off by Andrew Kopp, who will go rink wide to get it to center ice. Justin Hall for the Maple Leafs as both teams change. Finds his defense partner. Giordano got it ahead, launched high off a stick into the Detroit end, and Joe Veleno will get it out into the center ice area. Red Wings get it up on the right wing and send it down into the Toronto zone. These two teams have had some rather memorable games recently, with a lot of goals being scored, but right now it's just 1-0.
The first 4 games they played last year, or was it the first 3? Red Wings had scored 18 goals in the 3 games and lost all 3 of them, including a 10-7 game in Toronto.
Now here's Kerfoot dropping the puck back as he goes to the bench. Leafs a bank pass for Morgan Rielly, fed into the corner for Matthews. Matthews knocked down but got the puck to Nylander, and his shot went off a skate and went wide of the goal. Back of the net now, Olli Määttä trying to work the boards, being hounded there by Bunting, but it is launched by the Red Wings down into the Toronto zone. Morgan Rielly has to regain his feet as he was going nose first into the boards after being knocked down from behind by Berggren. Now the Leafs come through center with Nylander leading the rush. Works to the left wing boards and stops. Into the slot on the far side. Unable to get a shot away, and it's off a stick and coming to center ice. As Sandin was over there, but couldn't collar the puck in order to get a pretty good chance.
Leafs got away with a trip there as Larkin was hauled down.
Down around back into the Toronto zone. Sandin run at there by Larkin, trying to return the favor. The puck comes free into the corner now for Berggren. Berggren trying to get it in front. Sandin took his man to the boards. Berggren with it again, back to the point, a long shot, and seeing that all the way was Samsonov, who smothers the puck. 6th shot on goal for Detroit. 3:39 left first period, and 1-0 Red Wings lead in the game. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hear every NFL game on Sirius XM.
That's getting something going.
It's easy to find all the Sunday afternoon action on your radio. The home teams air on channels 225 through 234.
Touchdown! Patrick Mahomes with Mahomes magic.
And away teams on channels 380 through 392.
Touchdown Buffalo! Josh Allen, what a play!
Take your hometown announcers anywhere. Just search for your team on the SXM app. Go to SiriusXM.com/NFL schedule for game times and channel listings.
I can't believe it!
Tom Money here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the 3 of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy.
Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Couple of milestones reached this evening. TJ Brodie playing in his 800th career game, and Alex Kerfoot playing in his 400th career NHL game. The Red Wings lead 1-0. Hronek sends it around back of the net. Camp got in the way to block that, and now Giordano sends the puck off the boards to center. Kerfoot got bowled over, but he had the puck sort of batting it while he was getting blown apart. And that was a hand pass blown dead. So a tough play for Alex Kerfoot all around. Take one off the back and get crumpled and then not be able to make a pass.
This feels very similar to, remember a year ago they had all the games around Christmas canceled because of COVID for the Leafs, and they came back and they weren't as sharp as they were before Christmas. That's exactly the way it feels, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Same group. In fact, it's a healthier group than the Leafs had 3 or 4 weeks ago. But there seems to be a huge drop in energy just as they get the likes of TJ Brodie And Morgan Riley back in the lineup.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Hall gets back to chip it along the boards, but it doesn't get past the forechecker there, and Oscar Sundqvist. They get it, the Red Wings, back at the Toronto goal, and a penalty for holding is coming here against Toronto. So this will be the Red Wings' first full power play.
Well, let's not rule out something else happening.
Well, it's going to start.
Yeah, Magnus Hellberg, by the way, how about this for his year? Played last year in the KHL, but was signed April 13th, 2022 by the Red Wings, who had some injury problems at goal. You with me?
Yep.
All right, and July 13th. 3 months later, was signed by the Seattle Kraken. October 3rd, claimed off waivers by Ottawa from Seattle. November 10th, claimed off waivers by Seattle from Ottawa. And then November 23rd, claimed off waivers by Detroit from Ottawa.
Oh.
Don't unpack, young man.
No, but make sure you follow the paper trail.
Oh, jeez.
Leafs are able to get the puck free, and off a face-off win, David Camp will lift it down into the Detroit zone.
Well, you know, you always read where players are on loan. They've been loaned to the Marlies.
Yeah.
I was gifted.
No.
We don't want him back.
No, we know you are gifted.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yes, you are gifted.
Is this a loan? No, he's yours. You get to keep him.
Leafs intercept a pass and send it out and down the ice.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. A guy was gifted to the American League.
Yeah. I don't want him.
We don't want him back.
I don't want him. Here the Red Wings coming through center. Got it across the line. Pass intercepted again and quickly sent down the ice by Alex Kerfoot. Minute to go in the power play, and Seider is back in his own zone.
Red Wings in the last 11 games coming into this one just 6 for 38 with the extra man.
Fired down into the Toronto zone. Leafs are able to get it to the line, but not out. Kept alive by Jake Wollman. Onto the left wing side and down low. Centering pass. Good save made there by Samsonov. And the rebound wasn't finished by Larkin, and now against the boards it comes to the blue line. Red Wings are able to keep it in. Seider now to the left wing side, and coming across nicely there was Samsonov to swallow up a one-time shot taken by Jake Wollman off the near circle.
Now, I don't want to sound like I'm hypercritical. I would have felt a lot better with that save. He got over quick and square, but it's that extra motion, the sliding sort of out of the net. So if there's any kind of rebound whatsoever, I like the from one post to the other movement. But I always get a little queasy when I see that over movement after you make a save and you continue sliding. You know what I mean? Where you're not anchored and set for a rebound.
When he knew he had the puck, maybe he didn't try to anchor himself either. But all right. Puck comes around the boards to the near side.
That's how you get gifted. You do that too much.
Chance for Kerfoot. Trying to work in. Can't get a shot away. And then he is interfered with as he runs into the goal post, and a penalty is going to come to Detroit.
All right, so we did not get the first 2-minute power play. It comes with 15 seconds left in the penalty to Mark Giordano, so 4-on-4. And then the Leafs will finish. Well, let's not guess that either.
No, hang on.
Minute 6 left in the period.
Bergman is going to the penalty box.
Alex Kerfoot credit was kind of a one-on-one play where he kept weaving his way around and then tried to bring it to the net.
Call it cross-checking, and he really drilled him into the goal post. So this all comes at 18:39. And the intermission is going to have this power play broken up a little bit. 15 seconds before the Leafs go to the man advantage. They win the faceoff, and Morgan Riley works it down into the corner to Matthews. Matthews curls back on his backhand, works to the right wing side, then curls again on his forehand. A shot was blocked. He's able to retrieve the puck, but then has it stolen, and the Red Wings get it out just as the penalty to Giordano expires, and they send it into the Leaf zone. Less than a minute to go in the first period. 1-0 Detroit. Marner dropping the puck for Nylander. Nylander comes to the line and in, weaves to the right wing side, and he got a shot away and grazes the post. Kept alive by Tavares. Now Matthews sending it back to the blue line to Marner. Cross ice pass to Nylander. Back to Marner, and a shot in traffic was redirected wide. Willie is able to keep the puck in momentarily, but the Red Wings have retrieved it and sent it down the ice with a half minute to go in the power play. Marner's going to try and work it back in. Gets to the line and in. Feathered off on the wing to Bunting. Back to the point it comes. Nylander to Matthews. Closing! And the wrist shot went off the blocker of Hellberg and goes up into the screen and out of play, but a pretty good look there for Austin Matthews.
And we'll see if that actually gets ticked onto the shot on goal clock. Did this maybe glance off the crossbar? Or no, maybe.
I thought it went off his blocker.
The knob of his stick, maybe.
Yeah. Now, I don't know that the shot was on goal either, but...
they haven't put it on yet.
No. Draw one by Toronto. Fed back to the blue line to Nylander. 12 seconds left in the period. At the point it comes, and a bad pass by Marner went right by Matthews. Down into the corner, centering feed, comes back to Marner. 3 seconds left. He spins and sends the shot towards the net. And it was well wide, and there is the horn to end the period. So the Red Wings score the only goal of the frame as Jake Wallman comes out of the penalty box and decoys the Maple Leaf defenders into thinking he's going to the bench. He wasn't, and a breakaway goal is the end result.
And, well, they finally put up the second shot, so I guess they're going to give Matthews a shot on goal, but just 2 shots on goal for the Leafs in the opening 20 minutes. Sheldon Keefe had raved about how good he thought the Leafs were against Seattle in the opening period, where they only gave up a couple of shots. I'm sure he's less than thrilled with what he saw from his squad in the opening period of this one.
We will step aside as Jim joined by Frankie Corrado, and the Maple Leafs trailing 1-0 after the first period. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The College Football National Championship is on SiriusXM. The TCU Horned Frogs try to cap a dream season with a national title.
The Magic Man Max Duggan leads his Horned Frogs to victory.
The Georgia Bulldogs hope to cap an undefeated season with back-to-back national titles.
How about these dogs? Stetson Bennett, cool as can be.
Hear the national broadcast on ESPN Radio Channel 80. The TCU call on Channel 81. The Georgia broadcast on Channel 84. And all the action is on the SXM app.
Tom Money here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion, even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the three of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy.
Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. We deliver the NHL.
Obi, since 2005, he's number 4 in hits. That's strange. I've never seen that before. And then you can talk about the players that are in the same realm of his greatness. Obi's got like more than 2,000 hits on Sidney Crosby. And Sid doesn't play a soft game. It just shows what Obi has done. I'm amazed at his durability, competing at that level. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. I mean, it's crazy.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
We're with Bill Daly, Deputy Commissioner of the NHL. Ryan Reynolds, you guys and the Senators, what's the real truth on that story?
He has come in and visited with the Commissioner and myself a couple weeks ago. He's a very impressive guy, very enthusiastic, passionate about our sport, which we love.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. Sirius XM NHL Network Radio is 24/7 hockey talk.
What a save!
With insider analysis and all the breaking news.
This just in, a trade in the NHL.
And the biggest games of the night.
Down low and a chance on the back door. Ovechkin scores!
Here comes McDavid. Backhand! Score! Number 99, Wayne Gretzky, is on the line with us.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and on demand with the SXM app. The Point.
I think Preds fans are right. We're sick and tired of being good enough to be not good enough. At some point, you have to acknowledge the model isn't working, and you have to find a way to get elite scoring talent if you want to go best on best in the playoffs. Roman Yossi's a really admirable dude, but after 25 years, a defenseman just can't be your leading scorer. Cannot.
The Point with Boomer Gordon. Weekdays 1 p.m. Eastern. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And trailing Detroit 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. Shots on goal 8 by Detroit, 2 for the Leafs. Not the period we were expecting. We'll explore. TSN after 20 minutes is brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Own winter with legendary standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive for uncommon winter capability. Visit your Subaru dealer. Frankie C., what did you see?
Well, Jimmy, I'm looking at the scoreboard right now, and I'm seeing that the Maple Leafs only had 2 shots on goal in that period. Now, that doesn't tell the whole story, for me anyways. I thought it was not a period that was indicative of 2 shots on goal. Detroit blocked 8 shots. A lot of them came on that first Leaf power play where, if you recall, the Leafs had the puck in Detroit's zone for about a minute 30.
Yes.
And then the first unit went off for a change, and you and I started having a conversation saying, look, there's Morgan Rielly coming out for the second power play unit. By the time they get in the offensive zone, there will be no zone time for him.
Yep.
Sure enough, they got in the zone. They didn't even get set up, and that was it. It was 5-on-5. So that first power play unit had about a minute 30 of opportunities, retrievals, good entries. They just weren't able to get a lot cooking, and credit to Detroit for blocking a lot of those attempts. But it wasn't a bad 5-on-5 period by any stretch of the imagination either. It was a decent period, but you need a little more to show for it as far as shots on goal and good opportunities go. They didn't create any grade A opportunities for me.
Okay, so let's go to the power play. And clearly the first unit brings the puck up differently than the second. And part of the reason that Morgan Rielly didn't get into the zone was the neutral zone drop pass.
You don't like the drop pass. I am learning this about you. You are not a drop pass guy.
I like it when it's done at top speed. I don't like a methodical drop pass that you and I can read up here.
Here's the difference. Mitch Marner is so elusive and so sneaky. You could put a different forward in that position that Mitch Marner is in right now, where you carry the puck up through the neutral zone, and they're not just going to have the success that Marner has. He's a special talent, so he's able to carry the puck through the neutral zone. He kind of jams on the brakes once he enters the zone, and now it's all set up. Everyone goes to their spots, and you're cooking. Defensemen they don't skate that way. They don't handle the puck that way. So it is a little bit different. So as a defenseman, you go back, you're thinking, all right, the drop pass is what it is. I got to do it. It's part of our plan. It's part of our scheme. I watched Mitch Marner do the drop pass a couple times as well, and they got in with success. So I have a hard time just blaming the drop pass on not having successful power plays.
The drop pass is okay, but it has to be done at top speed.
It does have to be done at top speed, and a lot of coaches will tell you, as a defenseman, when you want to break the puck out, we need to head up the ice with speed. You can't do it slow.
Yeah, okay, so other than that, 2 shots on goal, and I thought, Detroit played the game they wanted to play. They like to block shots, they like to keep you to the outside, and they like to minimize your chances because that's what they have to do.
They did. So I'm looking at the report right now. We got a little stats report from my stats guy down at Yes Guy headquarters. Leafs had 2 slot shots on net that period. Detroit had 5. So the Leafs, that tells me the Leafs are not creating any grade A chances, which is something they're actually very good at. They're good at creating chances in and around the blue paint. It's probably been one of the biggest parts that they've improved on from last year. I used to have this conversation with a lot of people last year saying the Leafs don't score enough in and around the front of the net. They always have to score from distance, and that's something that they've done a better job of this season. And in that period, a lot to the outside, a lot from distance. And, credit Detroit, they have some bigger bodies on the back end, and Ben Sherratt and Moritz Seider, who had a good period away from the puck, and those guys did a good job of making sure there wasn't a ton cooking. I thought Alex Kerfoot had a really nice shorthanded rush that led to a penalty for Detroit, so there's a bright spot. Pierre Engvall had a good burst of speed through the neutral zone, but nothing that you could say was a sustained flurry of offense that broke down that defense and eventually led to some grade A opportunities.
And that's what we should see. I mean, just based on this matchup, that's what you should see.
That's what you should see, Jimmy, but you need to earn that. So I don't necessarily expect that to happen right out of the gate early on in the first period. But if I don't see it in the second, and if I don't see it in the third, then that's when you start to ask questions. Okay, why isn't that happening? Why did they not break this team down and eventually get those opportunities? So it is part of playing a quote-unquote, Jimmy, 60-minute game, right? Like, is wearing your opponent down to eventually get those opportunities, and that could be in the cards tonight. Like, this is one of those games where Sheldon Keefe is going to come in and say, 2 shots on net, regardless of how you think we played or how you think you played as an individual, is not going to cut it. You need to have more opportunities at the net front, so there is going to be a little more emphasis here on making sure that they're getting shots on net and creating opportunities.
Okay, so I'm going to go in the Leafs room, and I'm going to have the shots on goal on the board. I'm going to say, Guy, you see this number over here? Too small.
Well,
too small.
I wonder if Coach walks in and he asks one of the players, how many shots do you think we had that period? Because it's not like that's up on a TV screen in the dressing room.
In my dressing room, it would be. See this
it
number?
Would be.
I'm circling it. Too small. It's only 2.
Yeah, that'll be the biggest point of emphasis. As far as away from the puck, Toronto played well.
Yeah.
They got burned on one goal where Jake Wallman comes out of the penalty box and he makes a really smart play. He made it seem like he was going to enter back into the zone, and he took off. And the puck got to Ole Mata at the perfect opportunity to get it to Jake Wallman for the breakaway. And Ilya Samsonov, you and I talked about it a little bit. He made one big save on the penalty kill.
Point blank.
And point blank. Boom, boom play. He made a great save. He was square. He wasn't moving. He made another save on that penalty kill. It was a good save. The puck went from side to side. He slid, but then we kind of see what is ailing him a little bit. He almost overslides. So he ends up, by the time he finishes his slide, he's actually facing the corner. And I'm not a goalie expert, but I did enough goalie sessions when I was a healthy scratch to know that you're not supposed to be facing the corner when you slide. I had one goalie coach that used to tell goalies, you're sliding into the snack bar. That's how far.
I think that was my material.
That's right. You're sliding into the snack bar. That's how far you're sliding right now. So, for him, just calming down his game, but it's great that he made a couple big saves in that period.
Yeah, we need more out of the Leafs. That's the way to sum it up, right?
That's it. You need a little more pursuit to the net, and you need more shots on net. 2 shots on net's not going to cut it.
See that number there? It's too small.
That's right.
So I was right.
Yes.
Okay, Guy, thank you very much. 1-0 Detroit over Toronto after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, TSN1050.ca, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Hi, I need to realign my chakras, and I think consolidating my debts into one easy payment would really help. I'd like a loan.
Do you own your home?
Yes.
Then you're approved.
Namaste.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Go to alpinecredits.ca to get started. Some conditions apply.
Visra license 12616.
The clinic is no longer accepting new patients. Thank you.
For months, I've been trying to get help for my daughter who's struggling with anxiety. Months on wait lists for an appointment. Months of trying to talk to a human for more than 2 minutes at a time. Did you know that in Canada, 1 out of every 2 people who is struggling like my daughter isn't getting the help they need? 1 in 2. It's just not right.
Let's change this. On January 25th, it's Bell Let's Talk Day.
During cold and flu season, blood and plasma inventories have fallen to concerning levels, and there is an immediate need for donations to help ensure patient need is met. Make all the difference and book today at blood.ca.
Right now, we are in the most difficult weeks to fill appointments. We need new and existing donors to support patients by filling 10,520 open appointments in Toronto. Book your blood or plasma donation now at blood.ca, located at Yonge and Bloor, 67 College Street and Kingan University.
When an unexpected furnace breakdown happens, you can expect Reliance Home Comfort to fix it fast. We're available to take your call 24/7. And if you need a new one, Get our featured furnace and make no monthly payments until 2024. You might also be eligible for up to $7,100 in government rebates on a heat pump system and energy audits. So when an unexpected furnace breakdown happens,
call on Reliance.
Financing OAC. Interest accrues 12 months after installation. Conditions apply. See website for details.
Introducing Subway's refreshed crispy chicken recipe, made with delicious seasoned chicken breast, starting at just $3.99. It's so good, we made 4 delicious ways to enjoy it, like the sidekick served on a soft potato bun, or the crispy chicken bacon and peppercorn ranch made with Maplewood smoked bacon, or in a rice wrap or a savory rice bowl. Which one will you try first? Subway. Eat fresh, refresh. Freshly prepared for your order. Delivery fees, extras, add-ons, small order and service fees additional, plus taxes. For a limited time at participating restaurants.
What does commission-free trading on share CFDs mean? It means extra money to spend without eating into your returns. Don't get caught with your head down and invest using CMC Markets' easy-to-use trading platform and 24/5 customer service. CMC Markets is trusted for 30 years plus by over 1 million traders globally. Experience $0 commission on U.S. and Canadian shares with CMC Markets and work towards your winning streak. Visit cmcmarkets.ca for more information. Terms and conditions apply. CFDs involve a high degree of risk.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. Guy, it's time to Toyota. No other way to say it. Visit mapletoyota.com. Here's what we have out of town. Buffalo 1-0 over Minnesota. That's early in the second period. End of the first. St. Louis 1-0 over Montreal. End of the first. Seattle 3-1 over Ottawa. Earlier today, Devils got by the Rangers 4-3 in overtime. And also the Jackets got by the Hurricanes 4-3 in a shootout. Later tonight, Avs in Edmonton, Kings in Vegas, and the Bruins in San Jose against the Sharks. In our game, it is 1-0 for Detroit over Toronto after 20 minutes of play. Yes, Guy, the second period is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, tsn1050.ca, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans.
This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray.
New Year's resolutions, Tommy.
I'm not going to break as many tablets.
Good resolution.
Yeah, and I'm just going to stay physically fit.
You going to try any carbs this year?
That's cruel.
I think you should finally learn what all the hype's about.
That's right. Some pizza, some burgers. That was my childhood. That's why I was a 6th-round pick.
Download Let's Go right now on the SXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Tom Money here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion, even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the three of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy. Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. Everything is better on ice.
Markov, one-timer again, score! Let's go home, baby!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it, there's a chance, rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs trail in the game 1-0 as we get set for the second period. They've added an assist on the Red Wing goal, scored by Waltman, his third from Mata, and Ronick gets an assist a little bit later on after a video look-see during the intermission. So the Leafs, who are outshot 8-2.
And it was Austin Matthews' shot that they added late in the opening period. And if you wanted to split hairs, I think you could say that it was probably a shot that was sailing wide anyway. But Ken Daniels was saying on the TV side for the Red Wings that it would have been the lowest shot total since 2015, I believe. Something like that. Turned out it didn't matter.
It turned out it was immaterial, and we move on.
Premature.
You know, you should have been a lawyer. Oh, you know, with that kind of vocabulary and stuff like that.
You got to go to school for that kind of thing?
No, I don't believe so.
I'll give it a shot.
Not some of the guys I've had to work with. Shot down into the Red Wing zone. Here's Marner. Didn't get it. He tried to get it in front of the net and it went wide as Matthews was all alone in front. Leafs on the power play for another 20 seconds. Marner down to the point now to Riley. Riley to the near side. A drive by Matthews. Whip wide. The rebound. Scores! Mitch Marner's 500th point is a beauty. And the Leafs tie the game.
I'm not sure if you fired 100 pucks from that spot, if you could get the perfect carom that Mitch Marner got here. He is just above the goal line to the right of Hellberg. Austin Matthews misses the one-timer. From the top of the right wing circle, it sails wide, short side, and then caroms perfectly onto the stick of Mitch Marner. He doesn't have a lot of room as he's at a sharp angle and has to get it past Moritz Seider, the Red Wing defenseman, but he does to tie this game at 1.
15th goal of the season for Marner and his 500th career point as he joins Austin Matthews, who recorded that earlier in the week. And the Maple Leafs have tied the game at ones. It's shot down into the Toronto zone. The Leafs defending the goal to our left and the Red Wings to the right. Round back of the net, it goes to Giordano. His pass hit a skate. He works it up along the wall, fighting there against Bergman, Berggren rather, and it's down into the corner. And now the Red Wings unable to come up with it, and it's played out at center ice. Hall going back into his own zone. Got it ahead. Matthews is going to draw one assist. And Morgan Riley will get his 18th assist of the season without a goal yet. Engvall couldn't get it out. Now gets a second opportunity to skate it out at center. And then had it knocked off his stick at the last second. Red Wings right back in again. Earn goes wide of the net. He tries to center in front of the net. He did. There was a scramble in front. Pad save made by Samsonov on the scramble and the shot taken by Sundqvist. It's rolled down into the Detroit end. Goaltender Hellberg sends it around the boards. Almost intercepted there by Pontus Holmberg. But the Maple Leafs have to go back to center. Hunt runs into his man, but the puck is played down into the Toronto zone. And the Leafs go back to retrieve it. Pontus Holmberg on the near boards. Got it to the Leaf blue line and just out. Where the Red Wings shoot it right back in again, courtesy Lucas Raymond. Brody against the boards. Puck at the side of the net, comes to the near wing. Red Wings unable to get a shot, but they get it to the point. Seider's shot was blocked. Wallman now trying to keep the puck in. Back to Moritz Seider. The Leafs have had a broken stick, and so Zach Aston Reese is without a cue out there. Puck is still in the Toronto zone. Leafs down a man here as it goes to the far boards and is kept in at the blue line and then pushed out at center, and the Leafs will get a change of players. And then rescued there is Zach Aston Reese. Red Wings will bring it right back in again after waiting for teammates to get onside. Puck into the near corner and back to the point it comes to Wallman. He walks the line, got a shot away. It's deflected in front of the goal. And a sprawling save made by Samsonov's right leg. Red Wings pressing here. Back to the point again and a shot. Just missed the far post. And the rebound explodes all the way down into Detroit territory.
Well, you thought maybe the goal would go to the Leafs' legs, but it's been nothing but a pushback by the Red Wings.
Played through center and down into the Leaf end. Icing waved off. Liljegren kind of ran into a little stumble there, and that has forced Sandin into a bit of a problem as he plays it up on the wing and just does get it out at center ice with the assistance of Willie Nylander. Red Wings back in their own zone. Ben Sherratt will backpedal into his own territory a little deeper. Now starts out with a pass over on the right wing side. Gets it returned. Sherratt in on the left wing, going wide. Took a shot. Steered wide easily by the stick of Samsonov. And the Maple Leafs have it back of their own goal. Sandin sidesteps one forechecker. Long lead pass to get it ahead. Nylander wheels in on the left wing. Matthews to the front of the net, but he can't get him the puck. And the Red Wings have pushed it out at center ice with Berggren getting it to the line and in. On the left wing, it's around into the near corner. Hall taken to the boards, but able to get his skate on it and try to free it up now for Bunting. Bunting around on the far side, then for Camp, who bowled over his man there. Osterley really went nose first into the boards. That could have been a penalty there, I think, Jimmy. Hall bringing it back. Rink-wide pass. In on the left wing is Giordano, sending it around on the boards, and now scampering to the bench is the Leaf veteran defenseman. Played around the wall to the near side. Red Wings get it out at center. Engvall broke things up, but Ole Mata now in on the left wing for Larkin. Larkin with a shot and went high and over top of the goal. Rebound in back of the net and brought in front of the goal then by Kerfoot, who gets it up on the wing and hustles after it, trying to get it down into Red Wing territory, but Sundqvist took it away from him. Red Wings taking their time. The pass up on the left wing for Suter. Suter across the line. I can't help but think of Bob Probert when I see a Red Wing jersey with 24 on it. Around the boards, played to the line and out. Pontus Holmberg will get the center and drag it into the Red Wing zone. Played into the corner, and the Leafs are getting a change now. And Wallman plays it off the boards. Sundqvist getting it to center. Missing a hit there was Adam Earn, and the Maple Leafs are back in their own zone. Long lead pass. Here's Holmberg over the line, trying to flip it in, but a nice play by Seider to intercept that pass, but the puck is free again back of the net. Red Wings are able to control, and they'll play it out at center ice. Leafs regrouping now back at center. Played it ahead and across the line. Dryden Hunt couldn't come up with it. Leafs with their fourth line out there now, but change is coming. And Marner over the boards for Toronto. Leafs turn the puck over. It's sent by Rasmussen back in around the boards. Grabbed off on the far side by Yarncrook and sent back of the goal. Off the board sent by Giordano. Hall works back and still has it. Now trying to regroup the puck in the Leaf zone, and Giordano helps him out. Yarncrook getting in front for Tavares. He's in a goal. He goes! Holy mackerel, what a move! John Tavares gets the Leafs a 2-1 lead.
Kelly Yarncrook makes a great pass from the left wing boards. Saucers a backhander to the middle of the ice where John Tavares is coming through the slot. And Tavares looks like he's going to go backhand, but then changes the angle and snaps a forehand shot blocker side on Hellberg. And the Leafs, if nothing else, have their shooting percentage working tonight. Their second goal on just 4 shots. And they've scored on both of them here in the second period.
I don't even have to take my shoes off to tell you that's 50%, Mr. Ralph.
Well, if not, it's very close, Joe.
You know, Albert Einstein could have really used our help when he had to get all of these mathematics stuff going on there. I mean, we could have been brilliant with him. I believe at some point it would be, what are you two fools doing in here? Played down into the Leaf zone. A 2-1 Toronto lead. And wheeling out of his own zone is Michael Bunting. Bunting to the line with a drop pass to Nylander, closing now to Matthews, just out of his reach. Matthews swinging it around the boards. Liljegren will keep the puck in. Back of the net. Matthews in front of backhand. Oh, there goes the shooting percentage. Yeah. Now it's 5. Ooh, what is that?
Yeah. Carry the 7.
Well, it's below 500. Played down into the Red Wing zone. There's people out there saying, are those guys really that stupid? Yes, thank you.
But only the people that know us for sure would say that.
Liljegren sends it around back of the net. Engvall could come up with it, then it comes to him. He gets it out in front. Sandin, a pass in, backhand shot. Oh, what a break save made there by Hellberg. Leafs pressing now, and there goes the shooting percentage. Back along the boards, it's sent into the corner by Engvall.
Well,
what a great save Hellberg made.
Yeah, 2 great saves by Hellberg.
At the point, left wing side. Sandin, a shot, rebound in front. Oh, and Camp had his stick lifted or held. Camp, I think, thought it was held, or he had an empty net to shoot it in. Now Marner in over the line. Works back towards the blue line. Jams the brakes on centering pass, and it went just off Tavares' stick. To the line, just kept in by Hall. Played down into the corner. And all of a sudden, the energy level in the Leaf legs has really skyrocketed. And they're all the way up to 8 shots on goal now.
You know what? To me, it really started with a couple of big stops by Samsonov at the other end. Leafs tied it, and then it was all Detroit, but Samsonov kept them off.
Long shoot in. Yarncrook beat the icing, but Ben Sherratt has the puck now for Detroit. And he gets it out on the right wing side, and it's brought by Adam Earn down into the Toronto zone. Samsonov punching it along the wall, but cut off over on the far side, and a backhand pass by Suter didn't work. Leafs with it and bringing it out. Now at center ice is Nylander. To the line and in with a shot. Oh, and Hellberg just did get a little piece of that to deflect it wide. Rasmussen takes down the Leaf player. And the Red Wings benefit by getting it out at center ice now and into the Toronto zone. 15 seconds away from the midpoint of the game, and the Leafs with a 2-1 lead on a pair of goals here in the second frame. Matthews getting it ahead for Nylander. Rink-wide feed to the far side for Morgan Riley. As he tried to play it in, the linesman got in the way. That benefits the Red Wings, who counter. They get it down into the Toronto zone. Raymond into the corner. Dishes it off. Played around back of the net there by Suter. The puck is grabbed off by Matthews, and the Maple Leafs start back up ice. Up on the right side for Bunting. Chipped in over the line and down into Detroit territory. Leafs are changing as the Red Wings get to center, and Liljegren with a pretty good hit springs Hunt. Hunt in over the line for Zach Aston-Reese. Back for Hunt, but it was in his skates. He's able to send it into the corner. Reese with a centering pass and a wrist shot taken by the Maple Leaf centerman. There was Holmberg, and he set it wide. Liljegren with a long shot wide. Hunt around back of the net. Able to shield the puck and comes out of the corner with it. Back to the point. Liljegren, another shot. And that was kicked away by Magnus Hellberg. And now here the Leafs pressing again. And it's been the second or the third and fourth lines that have really done a lot of damage in that department. Played down into the Red Wing zone.
I'll tell you one thing, you give the fourth line credit. May not be a lot of finish yet, but they've been able to create scoring opportunities.
And draw penalties. Near side for Liljegren to his defense partner, Sandin, off the stick of Kerfoot, onto the stick of Engvall, but he couldn't get a backhand away, and the Red Wings are able to break it out at center. Up on the right wing side, a pass in for Larkin didn't work. Now Larkin turns, sends it to the net. Pad save made by Samsonov. And Engvall turns for Toronto to dish it back to David Camp, who regroups it now with Justin Hall. Hall up the middle to center. Camp comes to the line and shoots it off the glass and around the boards. It'll go to the far side. Sundqvist knocking it down there for Detroit. And Adam Earn gets the puck out at center ice. Morgan Riley restores for Toronto to Tavares. Tavares got it in over the line for Marner. Marner ran into a traffic jam and a hit there by Sundqvist and turned the puck over. And the Red Wings get it to the Leaf blue line. I think that was offside, to be honest with you, Mr. Ralph, as a centering pass deflected just wide of the Toronto goal. And goaltender Samsonov slowly getting to his feet. And now we get an offside at the Detroit blue line. I would like to have seen that. I think that might have been offside.
But I'm still a big fan. If it's real close, let it go. You can always go to video review, although obviously linesmen don't want the cameras to prove they were wrong either.
Giordano draws the additional assist on the Tavares goal. Riley and Matthews assisting on the Marner goal, and the Maple Leafs with a 2-1 lead here in the second period. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Did you know that in the past 12 months, 1 out of 3 Canadians who weren't investing started to invest? At CMC Markets, we provide real-time news insights on CMC Markets' award-winning trading platform so their clients can trade the way that suits them. CMC Markets is trusted for 30 years plus by over 1 million traders globally. So whether you are an experienced investor or just starting out, gain your financial confidence with CMC Markets. Visit cmcmarkets.ca to learn more. CFDs involve a high degree of risk.
The first 32 players are in.
He scores!
And this time, it's up to you to choose the rest of the roster with the 2023 NHL All-Star Fan Vote. Which of your favorite players will you send to South Florida?
My goodness! That's an absolute dandy!
You decide. Vote today on the NHL app or nhl.com/vote.
We started doing it in university because everybody was doing it. We could stop at any time, right? But it got harder and harder to stop. Everything just goes out the window when you see your best friend dying of an overdose right in front of you. Did you know the number of opioid overdose deaths in Canada went up more than 90% during the pandemic? It's now at 20 per day, every single day.
Let's change this. On January 25th, it's Bell Let's Talk Day.
I know.
The goal by Mitch Marner not only is his 500th point, but he is also moved to within one of Darryl Sittler's franchise record for home point streak. So Sittler has 18. Marner now has gone 17 straight home games with at least a point in it.
Isn't it funny when you hear the story, Darryl Sittler talking about his 10-point night? He didn't realize how many points he had in that game until somebody came down and told him after the second period. Yeah. Now guys know about records that nobody
never even heard of.
Yeah, but they're all over social media.
Yep.
And more obscure records.
Here's a point shot deflected off the blocking glove of Hellberg into the corner. That was sent in there by Sandin. Now they puck along the boards, and the Red Wings get it to the line and out. And now breaking up on the left wing, Ben Sherratt. Sherratt with a sharp angle shot that is easily caught by Samsonov and will be held for a face-off with some shoving over on the far side. Wonder who's involved in that. Oh, it's Michael Bunting.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know. You know that there's a saying that. No, we ain't done yet.
No, we're not done yet. Now,
I think
we got Philip Hronick involved in it, and I think Bunting's going to end up getting the extra penalty here. Now he's pleading his case, but I don't think Ben Matlock can get him off of this one.
Like they say, it's a fine line, and all it was Ben Sherratt with a little push, and Bunting pushed Sherratt back. And then, trying to think, it was Hronick, I think it was, that came in and gave another shot to Bunting. Then it seemed like everything was going to settle down, and then came the conversation. But this is not, especially in a 2-1 game in the second period, this is not the kind of penalty you want to take.
No.
If you're down 4 or up 4 and you're trying to send some sort of statement, and again, I think Sheldon Keefe is looking at the tableau and Leaf Benson is trying to say, okay, what exactly was this for?
And how did it start? Why did it continue?
And it was about 3 different Red Wings paid respects to Michael Bunting, and Bunting being the common denominator is the one gone off.
Hronick shoots the puck into the Toronto zone. Third power play of the game for the Red Wings. At the point, a shot deflects in front of the goal. Knocked away nicely by David Camp to the far boards. Stolen back by the Maple Leafs, and Marner now stick handling with it. Just did get it out. Everything's fine about ragging the puck and killing time, but if you don't get it out, and now the Leafs ice the puck. But he made a great recovery, didn't he? Kind of down on one knee and scooping it away.
Let's put it this way. If we weren't talking about the great recovery, we'd be talking about the horrid giveaway.
Play it around back of the net in the Toronto zone, and Yarncrook has stolen it and sends it down the ice. Minute to go in the power play. Third of the game for Detroit. Leafs lead 2-1. 5:50 to go in the period. Brought on the left wing by Veleno, in across the line and played around back of the Toronto goal. Yarncrook in there battling with Giordano as well as Sundqvist for the Red Wings. They've got it pinned up on the boards, but the puck comes free and a pass to the near side and a shot kicked away by Samsonov. Good save made there off Berggren. Puck comes back towards the blue line and the Leafs are out. Here's Yarncrook looking in over the line with a pass to the left wing side, but it was in behind Giordano, and 3 Red Wings have come to center and across the line. But it's bogged down, and then a shot deflects easily off a body and goes wide. Red Wings keeping it in on the far side. Wallman playing it back to the point. Seider sends it back to Wallman, now on the near side for Berggren, and a shot went wide. Far side, Wallman with it again. Back it goes to Seider. Seider holds, lets the wrist shot go, blocked in front of the net, then a rebound in front, is stopped, still free to the side of the goal, and the Leafs are able to come away with it. They'll play it on the boards to center, and Bunting out of the penalty box carries in on the right side. He'll just lay it in around back of the net looking for Zach Aston Reese, but he had it knocked away, and it's played by the Red Wings to center ice. And a whistle here for a high stick making contact will stop play. 4 minutes, 35 seconds remain in the second period. The Leafs 2, the Red Wings 1. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
SiriusXM is the destination for the best in podcasts. Get started on your 2023 resolutions. From parenting to finances to good sleep, put it all together with the Life Kit podcast. Kick the tires and hit the gas on Go Racing with Adam Carolla. And get cozy and creative on the Stitch Please podcast. Do something new in 2023 with SiriusXM podcasts. All are available now on the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
Tom Money here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion, even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the three of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy. Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. Hockey comes alive.
He darts in, let a shot go. He scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Lead the game 2-1. Mitch Marner's goal, his 500th career point, was a power play marker from Matthews and Riley. And then John Tavares with a beautiful move to score. Yarncrook and Giordano assisting at 6:37. The Leafs had just 2 shots in the first period. They have 9 here in the second, and the Red Wings have 8.
Samsonov hasn't been forced to be unbelievable, but he's given them the steady start that they needed. As he and Matt Murray have both kind of come back down to earth after some glorious stretches for the Leafs.
Well, prior to December 15th, they had a .920 save percentage, which was second in the league. Since December 15th, it's .852, which is 32nd in the league.
Dead last, if you're looking at it that way.
Long bouncing shot in a goal. A big rebound came away there from Hellberg, and he had to swat it into the corner as he misplayed that. Nylander, after a loose puck in the far corner, curls out with a pass in front for Matthews. That was stopped, and then Hall couldn't get the rebound to work on the backhand. Another pass looking for Matthews. Saucers it back to the point, Giordano. Giordano to Matthews. Matthews works back at the blue line, and as he stick-handled it out, it comes out over the line, and the Leafs are going to get a man advantage here, and Samsonov just realizing now he's in a sprint to the bench.
I think it's Ben Sherratt for a cross-check on, what's the guy's name for the Leafs that gets into a lot of trouble?
I can't recall him. He doesn't do much, does he?
Michael Bunting.
Bunting is strong one.
And it was Bunting and Sherratt that started the scrum that led to Bunting heading into the penalty box earlier in the period here.
So what you're saying is payback is a...
Yeah, no, I'm saying people don't get over Michael Bunting.
Here's Marner sliding in over the line. A centering pass for Tavares. It rolled off his stick, and the Red Wings are going to touch it here. And the penalty made or called by Ghislain Hébert will send the Leafs to the power play for the fourth time in the game, and it is brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Own winter with legendary standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. For uncommon winter capability, visit your Subaru dealer. Back with the power play, Leafs 2, Red Wings 1. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
What does commission-free trading on share CFDs mean? It means extra money to spend without eating into your returns. Don't get caught with your head down and invest using CMC Markets' easy-to-use trading platform and 24/5 customer service. CMC Markets is trusted for 30 years plus by over 1 million traders globally. Experience $0 commission on U.S. and Canadian shares with CMC Markets and work towards your winning streak. Visit cmcmarkets.ca for more information. Terms and conditions apply. CFDs involve a high degree of risk.
Please be advised, if you find winter driving distressing, the following is a real audio clip of a Subaru driving on an unplowed mountain pass in the Yukon in minus 23-degree conditions. Just listen to Subaru's standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive go to work on all that ice and snow. And that sound is our confident driver whistling Beethoven's Fifth, I believe. Visit your local Subaru dealer and really own winter with uncommon winter capability.
During cold and flu season, blood and plasma inventories have fallen to concerning levels, and there is an immediate need for donations to help ensure patient need is met. Make all the difference and book today at blood.ca.
Right now, we are in the most difficult weeks to fill appointments. We need new and existing donors to support patients by filling 10,520 open appointments in Toronto. Book your blood or plasma donation now at blood.ca, located at Yonge and Bloor, 67 College Street and King and University.
Austin Matthews had a little funny thing there. He grabbed the puck for the 500th point, and as he's skating towards the Leaf bench, he fakes throwing it into the stands. Now, I'm not sure who was more upset. The person who thought he was going to catch the puck or Marner.
Or the guy who thought he was going to lose it.
Leafs on the power play as the Red Wings have iced the puck off the face-off, and Marner comes through neutral ice, hits the blue line in on the right side for Nylander. Nylander spins it back to the blue line. Riley walks the line. Leafs with a defenseman on here on the power play, and now working with it on the far side is Tavares. Down low to Nylander. Back of the net, bank pass back to Marner. Marner to Riley. Riley middle of the ice, doesn't shoot it. Off on the wing it goes to Matthews. Down low, a pass looking in front, the shot. Stop! And Tavares couldn't get the rebound as Nylander tried to jam it in from the side. A juicy rebound was in front. Now Nylander in across the line. On the wing, a pass then by Matthews, who was off a skate. It goes around back of the net. The Red Wings have it, and they have launched a bouncer down into the Toronto zone. 57 seconds left in the power play.
Nylander and Tavares head to the bench. Matthews stays out with Marner.
And here's Matthews through center. In across the line, left wing side, played it to himself, then rings the boards to find Marner. Sent around back of the net. Matthews doesn't come out in front. He gets it back to the point. Sandin on the far side to Matthews. Oh, and he got a one-timer away there. And it went up into the screen. I think that may have hit the crossbar.
That, or it may not have even got to the net. Olimata had his stick out as well. And it might have ramped right up off Mata's stick and into the mesh. Get another look at it here. As Matthews is in prime position. Yeah, I think this goes right off Olimata. One more look on the replay. Yeah.
Face off to the left in the Red Wing zone. 36 seconds in the power play. Minute 45 to go in the period. The Red Wings have sent a bouncing shot down to goaltender Samsonov.
Sheldon Keefe was talking, as we look down now, Kelly Yarncrook took the face-off wearing number 19. Sheldon Keefe said the shootout was a little strange because Jason Spezza was always the go-to guy for the first one.
Yeah. Around on the boards, near side, now for Bunting. Engvall gets it back to the point. Sandin to Bunting, the one-timer. That went off the mask of Hellberg and deflected wide. Kept in by Toronto. Sandin, pass in front of the net by Liljegren was blocked. The rebound came right in front of the goal. And Yarncrook couldn't get his stick on it. And the Red Wings have gotten it out and have killed off the penalty. Less than a minute to go in the period. Michael Bunting got bowled over there, but here's Engvall stealing the puck, backhanding it into the corner, but the Red Wings launch it high and out and down the ice, and Sandin skating in quicksand allows an icing to happen, and it'll come back into the Detroit zone.
Shots on goal have evened out here as we get through the latter stage of the second period, 18-14. The Red Wings, but the Leafs had just 2 shots on goal in the opening 20 minutes. We're outshot 8-2 and trailed 1-0.
Face off to the right in the Red Wing zone. 46 seconds left to play in the period. It comes back to the point. Leafs keeping it in with Morgan Riley. His pass went off a skate. Red Wings have banked it out and down the ice, and there'll be another icing call here with 34.3 seconds remaining in the period. Marner and Matthews over the boards with Nylander.
Well, the Red Wings have missed the playoffs 6 straight years, and that was after a run of 25 straight playoff appearances. 4 Stanley Cups, one in that time.
And it's coincided with the new arena.
Yeah, well, I guess they missed the last year at Joe Louis.
At Joe, yep.
And then have not been able to make the playoffs.
And it's also coincided with the death of their owner. And Mr. Ilitch was a wonderful, wonderful owner to have. And the Red Wings all enjoyed it. Now we get a whistle here.
Puck knocked down with a high stick. At least going to get a break here. They'll get a face-off in the Red Wing zone.
14.3 seconds to go in the period.
Certainly somebody that loved his sports teams, both the Tigers and the Detroit Red Wings.
Yep. And did such a wonderful, wonderful job of trying to revitalize the downtown in Detroit. He would not take the teams out of the downtown, right? They were going to stay and get Detroit back on its feet, and they have. Now here the Leafs win the draw. A shot on a backhand by Brody. It comes off a stick, and now on the left wing with one man back, brought in over the line by Berggren. Berggren is forced wide, and that will run the clock out. So after surrendering the opening goal in the first period and having just 2 shots on goal, the Leafs get a dozen in the middle frame and get goals from Marner and Tavares. Marner's his 500th career point, and the Leafs with a 2-1 lead.
And Samsonov was perfect in the second period. And the Leafs, usually the starts have been impressive for Toronto, but they have an off opening 20 minutes tonight, but caught fire in the second period. And, Hellberg came up with 2 or 3 outstanding stops as well. One off David Kampf. Had some other opportunities the Leafs did trying to run away with this game here in the second period. But Hellberg, certainly on the 12 shots that he faced, he's beaten twice. But the Leafs could have had a few more if not for the goaltending of the Detroit Red Wing netminder.
So it is a 2-1 lead, and the Leafs will enjoy the second period intermission, and we will as well, with Jim Taddy joining Frankie Corrado. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hear every NFL game on Sirius XM.
That's getting something going.
It's easy to find all the Sunday afternoon action on your radio. The home teams air on channels 225 through 234.
Touchdown! Patrick Mahomes with Mahomes Magic.
pitching. And away teams on channels 380 through 392.
Touchdown Buffalo. Josh Allen, what a play.
Take your hometown announcers anywhere. Just search for your team on the SXM app. Go to SiriusXM.com/NFL schedule for game times and channel listings.
I can't believe it! Tom Money here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the three of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy.
Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. We deliver the NHL.
Ovi, since 2005, he's number 4 in hits. That's strange. I've never seen that before. And then you can talk about the players that are in the same realm of his greatness. Ovi's got like more than 2,000 hits on Sidney Crosby. And Sid doesn't play a soft game. It just shows what Ovi has done. I'm amazed at his durability, competing at that level. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. I mean, it's crazy.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Here's Bill Daly, Deputy Commissioner of the NHL. Ryan Reynolds, you guys, and the Senators. What's the real truth on that story?
He has come in and visited with the Commissioner and myself a couple weeks ago. He's a very impressive guy, very enthusiastic, passionate about our sport, which we love.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. SiriusXM NHL Network Radio is 24/7 hockey talk.
What a save!
With insiders, analysis, and all the breaking news.
This just in, a trade in the NHL.
And the biggest games of the night.
Down low and a chance on the back door. Ovechkin scores!
Here comes McDavid. Backhand! Score! Number 99, Wayne Gretzky, is on the line with us.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on demand with the SXM app. The Point.
I think Preds fans are right. We're sick and tired of being good enough to be not good enough. At some point, you have to acknowledge the model isn't working, and you have to find a way to get elite scoring talent if you want to go best on best in the playoffs. Roman Yossi's a really admirable dude, but after 25 years, a defenseman just can't be your leading scorer. Cannot.
The Point with Boomer Gordon. Weekdays 1 p.m. Eastern. NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Don't miss out on the Premier League, Champions League, and Major League Soccer. Hear all the action on SiriusXM FC 157.
Marner down to the point, now to Riley. Riley to the near side, and drive by Matthews, whip by the rebound, scores! Point is a beauty, and the Leafs tied the game at 1. And that was just the first 24 seconds of the period. 2-1 for the Leafs over Detroit after 40 minutes of play. TSN After 40 is delivered by 241 Pizza. Enjoy plant-based garden pesto pizza, pizza and wings, pizza and penne combo, and more. Visit 241pizza.com. On that power play, I mean, you couldn't follow the puck. It was moving that fast.
No, they had great puck movement, and the thing, they delivered the puck to the net in a hurry, right? Like, sometimes power plays will play with it on the outside, keep it on the perimeter, and you're like, okay, when's the shot coming? When's the attack coming? And it'll get blocked, and then it'll go down the ice. They made a point of making it get to the net early on, and Morgan Riley's out there, which we talked about a little bit. At some point, he's going to get back on the first power play. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to happen already, but you go out there, you score, so now that gives you that window of opportunity as a coaching staff to say, okay, we're going to keep him on the first power play unit. They just scored. Now we have our opportunity. Sometimes things happen. They present themselves to you in an opportunistic way as a coaching staff. So they take advantage. And now Morgan Riley, we see him later on in the second period again out there with that first power play unit.
So you figure that that's the way they're going to go for a while?
I feel like it. I feel like that gives you the opportunity to get him back out there. And Michael Bunting's been good, but like Michael Bunting, as much as he's a good player and he's been a good part of the first power play unit with the 5 forwards, he's not tied to that unit. He's not one of those guys like Willie or Mitch or Austin and John who you think, okay, this guy has to be on the power play, especially the first unit.
Yeah, and quite frankly, Bunting's role tonight is to get under everybody's skin.
Is he ever? Yeah, he's chirping at everyone. He's getting under people's skin. He's going at people after the whistle, during play, and he's taking penalties. He's drawn penalties. It's just another busy night for Michael Bunting, and I have an appreciation for a player who doesn't mind being the center of attention night in and night out. It's exhausting. Like if you're... I've had nights where I've played in the AHL, NHL, and it seems like you get in a couple scrums and, you have a little bit of a back and forth with someone and you feel like there's extra pressure on you during the game or you just feel like there's a little more attention on you. And you don't necessarily love it. Like I wanted to play hockey. You know what I mean? I didn't want the sideshow act. The guys who really embrace the sideshow, there's a different mentality and mindset behind it, and he's embraced it to the fullest. And tonight is another great example of that.
Well, it's sort of like self-policing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on away from the puck, and it escalates to that, doesn't it?
Well, it does, right? And so if you're that kind of guy, you're always in the mix. It could go a couple different ways. You could be one of those guys where you're always in the mix, you're always around, you're always stirring things up, and then the other team says, don't even bother with that guy. Just let him be. We don't even care about it. And more often than not, guys will just be like, okay, man, whatever. Like you're like a mosquito, right?
Yeah.
Like you just kind of
mosquito guy.
You just kind of flick it away. But in the case of Michael Bunting, he doesn't really have that around the other team's mindset. It feels like when Michael Bunting's doing it, he rattles a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he's getting under their skin, and they don't have the mentality where it's like, all right, just let this guy be. We're going to move on without him. He drags guys into it with him, and I think the referees gave Michael Bunting the one penalty when they could have given Detroit maybe the even-up call to try and send a message and say, okay, like, settle down. We're not doing this tonight. We're only going to take one guy. But Michael Bunting hasn't really stopped. He found himself right in front of the net, getting into it with Ben Sherratt, and actually baited him into a penalty as well. So he's doing his job really well. And you also add that's not the only thing he does, right? Like he's skilled with the puck. He's on the power play. He's hounding pucks. There's a lot of different dimensions to his game.
Well, I mean, he's getting them off their rhythm, and that works that way.
Exactly. And the other thing, Jimmy, like this is to segue here to the Leafs in this period. Their game changed a lot from the first period to the second period.
A lot of energy.
A lot of energy, a lot more pace, a lot more getting to pucks quicker, a lot more... Coaches used to say this thing, we need to play fast. That is so generic, and I hated hearing it because I don't know exactly what that means. But when I watched the Leafs play during that second period, they played fast. They moved the puck fast. They made quick decisions. They got to pucks first, and there was more urgency as far as bringing the puck to the net. So now they have 14 shots on net. At one point, they had 2 goals on 4 shots. The 2 goals came on grade A opportunities, and those were early in the period. The second goal, it's a pretty routine play. It's a neutral zone regroup when Calle Yarncrocs going to get a puck from Mark Giordano. Does a really good job of drawing the defenseman to him, and it's a nice saucer pass right on the tape of John Tavares. And Jimmy, I know you noticed this, but John Tavares, when he makes the deke on Hellberg, he gets Hellberg to follow his body, but not necessarily the puck. Right?
Yeah.
There's a big difference. Goaltenders, if you need to square up to the puck, not the body, and that's where John Tavares had him beat.
And Hellberg didn't like that because he took his mask off and looked at the play on the scoreboard. I watched him, and then after when the play started again, he was very attentive as to what was going on, so I think he caught him napping.
Well, he wouldn't have liked it for 2 reasons. he caught the Detroit Red Wings defense napping because they let Tavares in all alone. But then even for him, he knows his body needs to be square to the puck, not square to the shooter's body.
Yeah.
And so that's where John Tavares had him beat on that. And listen, you're going into the third period now up 2-1 on a Detroit team that doesn't score a ton, hasn't created a lot of offense. So your game plan should be fairly straightforward. It's a lot of the same. It's a lot of win puck battles, play with the puck in the offensive zone, and keep 5 players in front of you, because you know at some point you're going to get another opportunity. You're going to get another grade A opportunity to make this game 3-1 and put it away.
I think it's going to be a wild third period.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be a little bit of a sleepy one.
Well, one of us will be right.
Sorry, I hate to burst your bubble. I really do.
One of us will be right.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be one of those periods where Toronto kind of locks it down. They score another goal and maybe add another empty netter.
Guy, we'll see. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Lucky Mobile presents ways to save this winter. Garbage bags make great toboggans. Whee! String popcorn together for holiday decorations and a snack for later. Or you can always get a cheap phone plan from Lucky Mobile starting at $15 a month. No credit checks, no long-term commitments, and no data overage charges. Yeah, that's definitely a more cheerful way to save this winter. Visit LuckyMobile.ca. Conditions and SIM card charges apply. Lucky Mobile, lucky savings.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Please be advised, if you find winter driving distressing, the following is a real audio clip of a Subaru driving on an unplowed mountain pass in the Yukon in minus 23-degree conditions. Just listen to Subaru's standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive go to work on all that ice and snow. And that sound is our confident driver whistling Beethoven's Fifth, I believe. Visit your local Subaru dealer and really own winter with uncommon winter capability.
2-for-1 pizza. How can I help you?
Yeah, hi. I'm looking for a large pizza, lots of toppings for under $15. Is that even possible?
Absolutely. Right now at 2-for-1 Pizza, you can get a large quattro pizza with 4 toppings combined for only $14.99 plus tax.
I'll take it.
And you can add a deep and delicious McCain chocolate cake for only $5.99.
I'll take that too.
2-for-1 pizza. 2-for-1.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Hi, I'm looking to upgrade my kitchen.
Bathroom, Mom. We need an extra bathroom.
Emily, hang up.
Ugh, this is so unfair.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I need a loan for some home renos.
Well, do you own your home?
Of course. I'm the owner.
Then you're approved. Enjoy your new kitchen.
Bathroom!
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Go to alpinecredits.ca to get started. Some conditions apply.
Visual license 12616. Ugh.
When an unexpected furnace breakdown happens, you can expect Reliance Home Comfort to fix it fast. We're available to take your call 24/7. And if you need a new one, get our featured furnace and make no monthly payments until 2024. You might also be eligible for up to $7,100 in government rebates on a heat pump system and energy audits. So when an unexpected furnace breakdown happens,
Call on Reliance.
Financing OAC. Interest accrues 12 months after installation. Conditions apply. See website for details.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. Guy, it's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Here's what we have after 40 minutes of play. Sabres 4-3 over Minnesota. At the end of the second, Blues and Habs tied at 2. End of the second, Seattle 5-3 over Ottawa. Earlier today in overtime, Devils 4-3 over the Rangers. Columbus 4-3 over Carolina. That was in a shootout. Later tonight, Avs in Edmonton, Kings in Vegas against the Golden Knights, the Bruins in San Jose against the Sharks. In our game, it's 2-1 for the Leafs over Detroit after 40 minutes of play, and that means, yes, Guy, you are correct, sir. The third period is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, tsn1050.ca, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Team Coco
Radio legend Conan O'Brien here. I've often been told that I have a face for radio. Well, guess what? SiriusXM thought so too. Tune in to Team Coco Radio, Channel 106. Everything that you kind of liked about what I did on television, on radio. Conan O'Brien on Channel 106. Check it out. Team Coco Radio 106.
Tom Money here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion, even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the three of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy.
Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Don't miss out on the Premier League, Champions League, and Major League Soccer. Hear all the action on SiriusXM FC 157.
Everything is better on ice.
Markov, one-timer again, score! Let's go home, baby!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. Hockey comes alive.
He turns Ziggler's shot, go! He scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Maple Leafs scored the only 2 goals of the second period and lead 2-1. The second period was brought to you by Molson Canadian and Molson Ultra. Get $4 18-ounce Molson Canadian for dine-in at Chuck's Roadhouse during all Leaf games.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs just once this year have blown a lead that they've taken into the third period and not got a point out of it. And that was recently. That was a game in Arizona. No surprise there, I suppose. But the Red Wings, on the other hand, have trailed after 40 minutes of play 17 times this year. And 5 times have been able to come back and get a point out of it. They're 2-12-3 when trailing after 2.
The Leafs to the right and the Red Wings to the left to start this third period. The Leafs will leave immediately after the game for Philadelphia. And they will tangle with the Flyers there tomorrow night. We'll have all of that action for you beginning at 7 o'clock. We hope that you will join us. And I am praying there is no overtime so that I might get back, Mr. Ralph, to catch the full second half of the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions, with the Packers an opportunity to move into the playoffs with a win at Lambeau Field.
The frozen tundra.
Yes. Played down into the, kind of ironic that we're playing the Red Wings, and of course lots of Detroit Lion fans that are part of the Red Wing crew. And back of the net in the lead zone. Now here's Giordano. Had it knocked away, tripped his man, but no penalty, and the Leafs get a break there, and they bring it out at center. Kerfoot to the line and in, and it's knocked, or at least Marner to the line and knocked away from him. Brought back the other way by Detroit. Rasmussen takes it around to the side of the goal. Scoop wide of the net. It's centered in front as it comes back to the point. Sider gets it over on the left wing side, then gets it back. Now here's Sider with it once more, only to have it knocked away, and it is launched high.
Oh, no.
I think that might have gone off the clock, because it caromed rather strangely and went into the Detroit bench.
Well, the face,
no penalty.
You know what? That's got to be it, because the Leafs aren't taking a penalty for it. Although, I guess it could have ended up on the Red Wing bench as well, but the face-off will come all the way back into the Leafs zone to the right.
Yeah, I mean, just watching how it left the stick, it went straight up towards the clock, and then all of a sudden was over there to the right. Leafs win the face-off. Bunting trying to flip it out, didn't get it high enough. Kept in by Dylan Larkin. Puck into the near boards area and scooped around into the corner. Cut off by Morgan Riley. Riley with a little room, got it ahead. Bunting got it out. Red Wings play it back in on a delay, and now the Leafs will try the other side, but now they're in a delay. They still haven't tagged up. Bunting was premature getting into on the forecheck, but the Red Wings now have shot it down into the Toronto zone. Played around back of the net. Berggren gave the puck away. Engvall is able to punch it to the line and brought out now by Morgan Riley. Riley will shoot it down deep into the Detroit zone. Puck around the boards into the corner. Centering pass! And a quick shot taken there by David Camp is swallowed up by Magnus Hellberg, who hangs on. He had absolutely nothing to do in the first period, and he's been pretty darn busy since then.
A nice little setup by Pierre Engvall. Wins the battle in the corner to the right of Hellberg and throws it out to David Camp, who's got some time and space in the face-off dot about 15 feet away. Gets it away quickly towards the Red Wing net.
Draw one by the Leafs. Shot taken there by Sandin. Was stopped by Hellberg, and a penalty is going to come here to Detroit. Kept in by Kerfoot. And it'll be touched here by the Red Wings, and holding the stick is the infraction.
Now, I think, was it David Camp, the defenseman, or the Leaf that got held?
Detroit number 24, 2-minute line for holding stick. Suter is getting the penalty at 1:53.
Boy, I haven't seen that, so that must have been...
It was in front of the net, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was Camp. Power play brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Own winter with legendary standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. For uncommon winter capability, visit your Subaru dealer.
Mitch Marner had a power play goal for the Leafs in the second period to tie things up. They look to take a 2-goal lead here in the third.
And the experiment with the 5 forwards.
Yeah, Riley was on the last power play as well.
Yes, he was, yeah. I was, before you interrupted, I was about to say that they are continuing with that trend.
It's my job is to take what you say and finish the sentence.
Here's Matthews off a face-off win. Works to the near half boards. Back to the point to Riley. Riley to Matthews, closing. Back to Riley. The shot coming! And it's deflected. The rebound! Tavares chopped it over top of the goal. Marner unable to get to it.
Hellberg had no idea where that was.
Red Wings get it freed up, and they're going to get it out and down the ice. Riley will go back to the puck. He starts out. He'll bank it off the boards to drop it to Matthews. Matthews comes through center, dropping it off to Marner. He's across the line into the slot. Back to Matthews. Oh, what a move. But what a save by Hellberg. Matthews cut across and looked like he had just enough room to get it in by the post, but the tippy toe of Hellberg got there in time.
Well, Magnus Hellberg is listed at 6'6", 206 pounds.
He needed all 6'6".
Yeah, and I mean, what a great play by Mitch Marner. Gets over the line, spots Austin Matthews going to the net behind the defense. Little saucer pass. Matthews makes a great move. Looks like he's going to be able to go around the right pad of Hellberg and tuck it inside the post, but Hellberg takes it away.
Draw to the right of the Detroit netminder. Face-off won by the Red Wings. Sherratt carries out, working against Riley. Sherratt tries to go wide. Riley forces him wide, and then as the puck rolled off of Sherratt's stick, it is swallowed up by goaltender Samsonov, and there'll be a face-off in the Toronto zone with 1:05 left to go on the power play for the Maple Leafs.
Pretty smart play by Sherratt. Speaking of football, it was like he had found a hole and you thought it might be a couple of yard gain, and he took it all the way down into the Leaf zone.
Draw one by Toronto, and Riley goes around back of the net. First unit remains out there into the second minute of the power play. Riley drops the puck back for Matthews. Matthews coming to center and in on the left wing now for Tavares. Back to Matthews. Spun back to the blue line to Riley. Far side for Nylander. Back it goes to Riley. Now to Matthews. Closing! And the shot was deflected off a body and went wide. Now Matthews' pass is intercepted and cleared out to the line, and it'll be offside.
There's going to be
at the Toronto blue line, and a tripping call coming as well.
Yep, and I believe it's going to be John Tavares. Now, I guess you could Trying to make the argument that the play was offside before the trip. But looking at it again, no, doesn't quite get over the line. So 32 seconds of 4-on-4. And then the Red Wings will go on the power play.
It'll be their fourth of the game. 3:21 the time of the Tavares minor. And the face-off down in the Toronto zone.
The timing is so important. You remember the game in Detroit? The Red Wings scored first, had a power play, didn't score. The Leafs tied it, had a power play, scored, and kind of ran away with the game after that.
Puck goes down into the Detroit zone. Mata getting it back on the wing now for Perron. He can't get across the Leaf line cleanly, and Larkin goes back to retrieve it. Dylan Larkin coming out of his own zone to center. Shoots it in wide into the Toronto zone. Liljegren got it freed up for Sandin. Sandin has dropped it back. There's 2 seconds left in the penalty. Now the Leafs are a man short. And it is Kerfoot bringing it down into the zone. Then curls back and sends it all the way back into the Leaf end. Liljegren with the pass on the far side. And it gets ahead to Marner. Marner to Camp. Back into the Toronto zone for Brody. Leafs doing a nice job of ragging the puck. And then Brody launches it out and down the ice. Played into the corner, and Marner with good positioning got it freed up, and Camp got a shot away. Wasn't a hard shot, but he got it away in a hurry, and Hellberg had to make the save. Red Wings to center and down into the Toronto zone with 48 seconds left in the penalty. Played to the line, but not out. Seider was able to keep it in. Stolen by Marner. Launched high over top of Seider. And Moritz Seider has to go back to retrieve it. He'll bring it down in on the left wing. Scooped around back of the Toronto goal. Brody to Marner, but a bad pass in front of the net as Aston Reese wasn't expecting it. Now the Red Wings with a shot. That's blocked. Now Marner starts back, thinks about making a pass, and then slaps the puck down the ice. That caromed off one of the stanchions on the far side. Came right out in front of the Detroit goal with the goalkeeper behind the net, but no one there to take advantage. Which was why Mr. Ralph went, oh, I think.
Flashbacks of Kalamazoo game in '84.
And across the line for Tavares! In a goal, and a good save made by Hellberg.
Tavares out of the box. Takes a great pass from Alex Kerfoot on the right wing boards. A little saucer pass in behind the Red Wing defense. And Tavares used the same move that he used in the second period to score, which was go backhand, forehand, blocker side. This time Hellberg was able to shut him out. As this one a little more off the wing than the goal that we saw in the second period.
John Tavares scores a lot of goals that way, doesn't he?
What a pass, though.
Oh, it was a great saucer pass. About a 5-footer, eh? Just over the stick and laid flat.
Yep.
Draw one by the Red Wings. And up on the right side, Lucas Raymond gets it out at center ice, and Sherratt sends it down into the Toronto zone. The Leafs 2, the Red Wings 1. Puck in the Toronto end. Back to the point it comes, and a shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Engvall corrals the rebound, circles in the corner, and now starts up ice. He's got skating room to center. In across the line on the left wing for Hunt. Back into the corner for Engvall. Tried to play it back of the net, but the official got in the way. Red Wings with some difficulty on the far side. Soderblom couldn't get it out. Leafs have it again. Engvall around back of the goal. Hunt able to corral it. Back to Engvall. Back to the point. It's coming over here on the near side to Riley. A shot. He scores! Holmberg in front of the net. If not, it's Morgan Riley's first goal of the season.
I'm with you on the first call, Joey. I think it was Holmberg on the redirection as Morgan Riley throws into the net from the left point. Holmberg was standing in front, shuffled to his right, and before the Red Wing defense, I believe it was Ole Mata was late getting to him. And Holmberg with a perfect redirection up over the right shoulder under the crossbar. And the Leafs have extended their lead to 2.
Fourth goal of the season for Pontus Holmberg. And Morgan Riley picks up his second assist of the game. And the Maple Leafs have a 3-1 lead. Here the Red Wings, though, back in. Hronek in with a shot, and making sure that things didn't go quickly the wrong way was Ilya Samsonov to make the save.
One thing that was very interesting, I thought, from Sheldon Keefe. Offensive zone face-off after a penalty kill. Usually it's Matthews that comes over the boards. Instead, it was Holmberg, it was Engvall, and it was Dryden Hunt.
Yep.
Because Zach Aston-Reese was out as part of the penalty kill. So you think most of the fourth line is out. Why would you do that? Well, score a goal and take a 3-1 lead.
You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans. This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray.
New Year's resolutions, Tommy.
I'm not going to break as many tablets.
Good resolution.
Yeah, and I'm just going to stay physically fit.
You going to try any carbs this year?
That's cruel.
I think you should finally learn what all the hype's about.
That's right. Some pizza, some burgers. That was my childhood. That's why I was a 6th-round pick.
Download Let's Go right now on the SXM app or wherever you get your podcasts. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Tom Money here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion, even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the three of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy.
Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Face-off won by Detroit in the offensive zone. Matthews is able to take it away from him and get it ahead to Nylander. Nylander to center, had it knocked off his stick, and it's played to the blue line and chopped back now for Bunting. Bunting just gets rid of it to center ice. TJ Brody has drawn the additional assist on the goal. And the Maple Leafs now with a 3-1 lead. They're trying to win their 9th consecutive game against Detroit. The franchise record for longest win streak, as Matthews gets it across the line, is back in 1941, when they won 12 straight times against the Montreal Canadiens, of all teams. Down into the corner it goes. Leaf play it around the boards to the near side and launch it high through center and down for an icing.
You can't go into Montreal, though, and look at all those Stanley Cup banners and say, hey,
you know what, eh?
You remember that? Remember
that little stretch you guys had? Well, that's the neat thing about all of these statistics that the internet allows us to do. We can sit here and thumb our noses at them for a little while now.
Well, here's a great one, though. And like I said, we talked a lot about their record against Arizona, and that was confirmed with 2 losses this year. Their inability to beat St. Louis on home ice, well, that was confirmed again.
Yeah.
So now they get a 3-1 lead in the Red Wings, and second longest win streak against a team in the NHL is against Philadelphia. This is 5 games. The Leafs are in Philadelphia tomorrow.
All right.
So finally, some history on the Leafs side.
Played down into the zone, and an icing call on a bit of a soft icing is going to be brought back into the Toronto zone. 12 minutes and 5 seconds to play, third period, 3-1 Toronto.
Well, I would imagine that the Montreal Canadiens are big fans of the Florida Panthers to miss the playoffs, because Ben Sherratt was traded from Montreal to Florida for a first-round pick. Sherratt has since signed with the Red Wings in the offseason. A first-round pick that is unprotected. I don't think the Florida Panthers thought a year ago when they made the trade for Sherratt they'd be battling.
Here's the centering pass right in front of the Leaf goal, and a good save made by Samsonov. Back to the point, Woolman. Off to Sider. Sider now working in. Drops it off. A shot to the far side went wide, and Sider couldn't redirect it either. Sider back to the point. Here's Raymond. Along the boards, getting it back to Sider, and the shot was blocked in front of the net by Sandin. He carries the puck into the near corner. Some good pressure here from Detroit, though, as they play it along the boards. The Leafs intercept, and a nice move by Bunting is able to secure the puck and get it out at center ice. Leafs get a wholesale change completed. Cleared in over the line then by Michael Rasmussen, and the Leafs are back to retrieve it. Morgan Riley's pass off a stick. Tips to the blue line. Camp is able to knock it in a little bit further, but the Red Wings have it again and get it to center, and it's backhanded by Lucas Raymond into the Leaf zone. Leafs counter. Back in across the line for Camp. Unable to handle the puck. Shot down into the Toronto end. Morgan Riley not putting any effort into getting back. And an icing call coming here against Detroit with 10:55 left to play in the third period. 3-1 Leafs.
Well, first game here in Detroit as a head coach for Derek Lalonde, longtime assistant coach to John Cooper in Tampa. There's a funny story when he first called Dylan Larkin. I'll finish that in a moment.
All right, Riley off a face-off win, closes, got a shot away on the short side, and Hellberg got a piece of that. Riley with it again, trying to center, had it blocked, flips it into the corner for David Camp. Camp in against the boards, it comes around to the near side, grabbed off there by Engvall, played back to Brody, who sends it back in front, and then a loose puck to the side of the goal, and Camp couldn't get a stick on it. Now Engvall trying to fight Camp in front. Oh, what a great save that was. Hellberg had to come from his right to his left and just got the glove on it and then covers up.
I think Pontus Holmberg has a lot to do with this line being together, because we saw earlier in the year Camp was centering the fourth line, Kerfoot was centering the third line, but now you've got Kerfoot, Camp, and Pierre Engvall together. And Joe, they create. By the way, the thing with Derek Lalonde, the head coach of the Red Wings, nicknamed Newsy after the longtime Montreal Canadian Edward Newsy Lalonde, called Dylan Larkin, the captain, and said, "Hey, it's Newsy calling." They chatted for a while, and Dylan Larkin had no idea who Newsy was. He knew Derek Lalonde was the head coach.
Yeah, but he didn't know that it was Newsy.
No.
That's great. Long shoot in, goes down into the corner. In the Leaf zone, a quick pass off a skate. Karam's into the Detroit zone. Hellberg sends it around back of the net. Leafs 3 and the Red Wings 1. Third period. Red Wings start out of their own zone. Hronek circles back now to allow for a change of players. And he still has it in front of his own goal. He'll drop it off. Sider waiting patiently again. Waiting for a couple of forwards to swing. Then got it up ahead. And David Perron sends it deep into the Toronto end. Down along the boards. It goes around back of the net. Matthews unable to free it up. The puck is in back of the goal. Red Wings can't get it in front, though. It comes back on the near half boards and back to the point. Long shot taken there by Berggren, and it was blocked, and Karam's to center. Jonathan Berggren gets it back into the Toronto zone. Red Wings with it, and Larkin coming on the front, stolen by Nylander. He's got a partial breakaway. Nylander in on the backhand, and he was caught at the last second by Jake Wallman.
Boy, but the takeaway was what was impressive for Nylander.
Well, I'll tell you what else was impressive. Jake Wallman's a pretty quick skater because he caught Nylander, who can fly.
Well, when you give the puck away, you become a lot faster.
Do you? Yes. I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
The power of panic.
Sider in across the line. Played into the corner. Brody up against the boards. Got it freed up for Riley. Riley for Tavares. Nifty move to get it out and couldn't hook up with Marner coming across the blue line. Riley with it in the neutral zone, trying to stretch things out and get himself an opportunity to find Tavares, and does. At center, Tavares shoots it in. 8:09 to play in the third. The Leafs up by a pair. Loose puck in the near offensive zone. Goes to Tavares, and a shot from a sharp angle was stopped. And it is shot out and down the ice by Detroit. And so an icing call will bring the faceoff back into the Red Wing zone with 7:57 to play in the third.
Well, the Leafs, after 3 straight unimpressive periods, have bounced back. And we're talking about the last 2 periods against Seattle. And the first period here tonight, where they only had 2 shots on goal and trailed 1-0 after the first. But boy, they've had some great opportunities in the last couple of periods. And Magnus Hellberg really has become the reason the Red Wings are within 2.
Face off to the right of the Detroit goal. One cleanly by Yarncrook, kept in by Hall. Karam's around back of the net for Tavares. Tavares trying to chip it back to the blue line. It comes over on the near side for Giordano. Back to Marner. His shot was off the mark wide. Interesting that Yarncrook taking a lot of the face-offs, even when Tavares is available. Back to the blue line, Giordano. Now to Yarncrook on the right wing side for Hall. Can't shoot it, and when he did, it deflected. And the black boot of Hellberg was kind of flipping into the goal crease there. And I, for a moment, thought that was the puck. But he had control of it, and he holds for a face-off with 7.5 minutes to play in the third. Leafs nursing a 3-1 lead. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Did you know that in the past 12 months, 1 out of 3 Canadians who weren't investing started to invest? At CMC Markets, we provide real-time news insights on CMC Markets' award-winning trading platform so their clients can trade the way that suits them. CMC Markets is trusted for 30 years plus by over 1 million traders globally. So whether you are an experienced investor or just starting out, gain your financial confidence with CMC Markets. Visit cmcmarkets.ca to learn more. CFDs involve a high degree of risk.
I just came back from seeing my boyfriend at the funeral home. I'd rather have seen him in the new home we just bought together, but now that's never going to happen because my boyfriend took his own life. I'm telling you this because every day more than 200 people across the country will attempt suicide. 12 will die, like my Alex.
Let's change this. On January 25th, it's Bell Let's Talk Day.
Introducing Subway's Refresh Crispy Chicken Recipe, made with delicious seasoned chicken breast, starting at just $3.99. It's so good, we made 4 delicious ways to enjoy it, like the Sidekick served on a soft potato bun, or the crispy chicken bacon and peppercorn ranch made with Maplewood smoked bacon, or in a rice wrap or a savory rice bowl. Which one will you try first? Subway. Eat fresh, refresh. Freshly prepared for your order. Delivery fees, extras, add-ons, small order and service fees additional, plus taxes. For a limited time at participating restaurants.
Face-off coming in the Detroit zone to the left of Magnus Hellberg.
They're getting a kick out of them showing the fans that are in the signs. A lot of signs that are up. You remember in Philadelphia, they had a guy that was known as the sign man of the spectrum.
And he was very creative.
Yeah. Dave
always
Leonardo
had
or
this
something like that.
Look on his face holding them up, too.
The mustache and the hair.
Puck down in the Detroit zone.
I believe he was the one that came up with only the Lord saves more than Bernie Perron.
Yes. Play it around back of the net now for Sherratt. He gets it up on the wing. Liljegren had pinched but has lost his stick. Now goes back to retrieve one from Bobby Hastings, the Leaf equipment man, and out come the Red Wings. Sherratt will send a long shoot in that is directed wide of the net by Samsonov. It bounced out in front, and then it bounced right over Elmer Soderblom's stick. Chipped along the boards, and the Leafs are out now with Kerfoot, but he can't get around the defense. Shot by the Red Wings back into the Toronto zone. 6:40 left to play, third period. Leafs 3, Red Wings 1, and an icing coming here against... No, it's not, says the linesman, because of the tardiness of the Red Wings. Jake Wallman put the motor into reverse. Centering pass is intercepted, and now the Red Wings bring it out. Lucas Raymond to center. He's going to shoot it into the Toronto zone. Riley reverses the puck for Brody. Brody tried to reverse the puck, but got it around back of the net to the near corner. Leafs chop at it, but don't get it out. And then it's turned over. Here's Adam Earn trying to get a shot, but he sends it to the side of the goal. Leafs play it along the boards. Banked in, a diving play made there, and a good one made by the Maple Leafs to get it out at center. Now here the Leafs in front of the goal for a pass for Holmberg that didn't connect. Zach Aston Reese isn't going to be shown anything. He had to dive, get his stick on the puck right along the right wing boards to just get it out. And that was enough to create the scoring point. But little plays like that are important, especially when you're on the fourth line.
Yeah, and he's gotten 17 games without a point. His last point was a goal in an afternoon game in Minnesota. Opened the scoring against Marc-Andre Fleury. But points are a bonus. Like you said, you make a great defensive play.
Tavares wins the face-off. Centering pass by Marner. Didn't reach Tavares, and now here are the Red Wings getting to center and flipping it in, but it's a Lone Ranger rush that is cut off by Giordano, who gets the puck over the blue line, and the Leafs get it the rest of the way into the zone. Tavares in pursuit, tripped up back of the goal, brought out now by the Red Wings. Waldman gets it to center, and it's down into the Toronto end. Round on the boards for Sandin. Fakes a shoot around. Liljegren tries the other side, but it's cut off and centered in front of the net. Backhand play, and it was off a skate, and the Leafs get a break there. Sent to center ice and chipped along the boards by Yarncrook, but he can't get it into the zone. The Leafs are going to regroup it at center. Liljegren pounds it into the zone with 4:56 to go.
We got too many men. We got the referee doing some real quick counting over there.
Well, we got a lot of finger pointing. I think it's an icing call.
Okay, yeah, so they're just trying to make sure they've got everybody's the right complement of players on. But there was some, and I'm not being smart. That can't be easy when you see guys, you got 4 guys going to the bench changing. And the rest,
take your pick.
Yeah.
Draw one by Detroit. Red Wings keeping it in at the point with Sherratt. He holds, still with it, sends it in, and it's redirected out in front of the net by Andrew Kopp, but sent it well wide. Puck in the Toronto end, around back of the goal for Liljegren. Liljegren plays it ahead. Yarncrook just gets it out. Good job. He's heading for the bench. Lost his stick in the process.
Boy, has he been impressive since coming off the injured list. Great setup in the John Tavares goal in the second period.
Referee's got a broken stick that he's carrying around. Leafs are able to break it out and have a 2-on-1. Matthews is the wheelman to Nylander, closing! And the glove hand of Hellberg snaps that out of the air against William Nylander. Still 3-1 Toronto, 4:14 to play, third period. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Get the VIP treatment. With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you get everything you love about SiriusXM on up to 2 radios and 2 SXM app logins for one great price. Enjoy opportunities for exclusive experiences, dedicated customer care, and access to Stitcher Premium Podcasts. It's all included with your Platinum VIP subscription. Call 855-268-1820 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Tom Rennie here from SiriusXM FC, and if you love soccer and you love banter, you need to check out Grumpy Pundits.
I accept your opinion, even though it's wrong.
We have a pair of legends in Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith.
Did you ever hear such bull in your life?
And the 3 of us wind each other up whilst debating the biggest stories from the Premier League and beyond.
You're getting so grumpy.
Did you ever hear the name of this show?
Grumpy Pundits, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app, free for most subscribers.
We deliver the NHL.
Former general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Nonis, starting to decide you might need a coaching change. How do you weigh all that?
First of all, what's plan B? Do we have somebody in the organization that can do the job on an interim basis? If it gets to the point where you think your team is not just winning and wins and losses, but if they're not progressing, then you start to think about making a coaching change.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. Everything is better on ice.
Markov, one-timer, again, score! Let's go home, baby!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
The Leafs 3, the Red Wings 1. Toronto now outshooting Detroit 26-23. They were outshot 8-2. The Leafs were in the first period. Now the Red Wings send the puck down into the offensive zone, but no icing here as Detroit is the first player down. Adam Earn trying to come away with it. Played by Riley around back of the net for Brody. Brody running out of real estate over there, double teamed. Then Matthews was tripped, and the puck comes out in front of the Leaf goal, and the Leafs bring it out. Here's a pass for Riley on the left wing. Riley into the corner, just going to play it around to the far side. Winning real estate here is more important than getting scoring chances if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, as the Red Wings send it into the Toronto zone to get a change going. T.J. Brodie.
3:34 to go, but the Leafs have only given up 5 shots here in the third period.
Into the corner to Riley. Riley, a lead pass, turns into a shot on goal because he couldn't find anybody open. Hellberg had to make a save, and there, of course, no icing because of it. Now the puck is into the corner in the Detroit zone, and time ticking away with 3:11 to play. Kerfoot played to the side of the goal, cut off there by Moritz Seider, and Seider will get it ahead, and now played ahead then by Perron, and it comes to the Leaf zone. There goes goaltender Hellberg to the bench. Leafs with an empty net to work with and a 2-goal lead. A puck bounces away from one, pushed out at center ice by Toronto. And I think now everyone has just become aware that the net is empty. Shot back in, and Samsonov couldn't trap it back of the goal. It comes in front of the Leaf net. Played ahead, and a shot at the empty net was knocked out of midair on a pretty good play by Jake Wallman. 2:28 to go. Shot down into the Toronto zone. Hall around back of the goal. Got it to Marner. Marner, a little flip pass that didn't work. Comes away with it, but can't find Tavares. Now in along the boards on the far side. Perron takes it around back of the net. A wrap around the tent. Oh, and there was room. There was room there, but the Leafs get it out at center ice. Samsonov didn't get across, but the wraparound didn't go to the near post. It went more to the middle of the net. Leafs with it in their own zone. Backhanded high to center ice then by Tavares. Shot right back into the Toronto zone. Chipped on the wall and played high off the boards to center. And it's grabbed off by Tavares with an empty net. Scores! The captain ices it away with his second goal of the game. And a 4-1 Toronto lead with 1:39 to go.
And the first 2-goal game for John Tavares since he found the back of the net 3 times against the Philadelphia Flyers. Earlier in the season, pretty good move one-on-one down the middle of the ice where he picked up the bouncing puck. One man back, little forehand fake back to the backhand, and then bounces it into the empty cage from the high slot to give the Leafs a now comfortable 4-1 lead with 1:39 to go in the third.
So the Maple Leafs are going to pick up their 14th home ice win, their 24th victory overall, and their 55th point at the expense of the Detroit Red Wings. And the winning streak against Detroit is going to climb to 9 games, which is tied for the third longest streak of success against one team in franchise history. The Leafs won 9 against the Flames, the Minnesota North Stars and Stars, and the Tampa Bay Lightning back in their infancy. They did it twice against the Lightning. 10 games, and we mentioned Montreal back in the from 1939 to 1941. The Leafs won 12 games against the Montreal Canadiens.
That was probably over a weekend back then.
Brought out at center ice now by Holmberg. Hall gets an assist along with Marner, who celebrates his 500th career point with a goal and an assist. Brought in over the line by the Red Wings. Can't chop it in front of the net. Final minute ticking down as the Leafs chop it down into the Detroit zone. David Camp runs up against the wall. Engvall got it freed up now for Kerfoot. Oh, and a good glove save. Hellberg has certainly played well here, hasn't he?
Yeah, and you know what? You can say, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's in the final minute. You're down 4-1. For a goaltender, it does. Whether it's save percentage or goals against average. as Kerfoot is wide open. And this is one, I think from a Red Wing standpoint, you're not thrilled with this because it's like, let's at least be smarter in front of our goaltender late.
A shot deflects high over top of the net. Played off the glass by the Red Wings to center. Morgan Riley is there to get it ahead. Kerfoot tried to bring it in, but it's way offside as David Camp was in by about a stride and a half. And so it'll come back out into the center ice area. And a reminder that the Leafs are right back at it tomorrow night. We'll have that action beginning at 7 o'clock. What the hell's the name of the rink?
The Wells FUC's Core Spectrum.
Well, they're in Philadelphia. Whatever the rink is named this year. I think, yeah. For the life of me, I don't know. I'm going to check that just so that I do know.
First Union Center, a lot of people love that.
Yes, they did. Yeah, that was always very entertaining. And it will be at the Wells Fargo Center.
Again?
Yes. Boy, they're in a slump. They haven't changed the name. Leafs keep the puck in. Final seconds here. And that'll do it. Surrendering the first goal, the Leafs get tallies from Marner, Tavares, Holmberg, and Tavares again. And the Maple Leafs are going to be 4-1 victors here this evening.
Like we said, the concern level was, I think, as Sheldon Keefe was thrilled with the first period against Seattle, less than thrilled for the next two periods, and then they start with a tough period against the Red Wings. And when they were able to snap it off, and I think a lot of it had to do with the power play goal by Mitch Marner early in the second period. The Leafs seemed to get the legs. The Red Wings who played the whole last night, the Panthers seemed to sag, and the Leafs were able to take advantage. Ilya Samsonov made some big stops, but I thought Magnus Hellberg kept this respectable for the Red Wings as he made some, borderline thievery plays against the Leafs.
But the Leafs got goaltending that they need. They don't need spectacular. They need steady and consistent.
And it's one of those, and you hate to say it, but this was another one of those games where just don't screw it up. You know, we don't need you to stop 6 2-on-1s, although they did score on a breakaway in the opening period. But just nothing bad against. And I think when we saw that in the game against Seattle a couple of nights ago, where the Leafs come back, they tie it 1-1, and then a soft one against, and you just feel the air come out of the building and out of the momentum that the Leafs were trying to build after tying the game. For tonight, Samsonov came up with some big saves in the second period after the Leafs tied at 1-1, and then really Hellberg was the one. Was the difference between this being a 6-1 game and a 4-1 empty netter.
So the Maple Leafs win it by a score of 4-1. They're in Philadelphia tomorrow. We're on the air at 7 o'clock. We hope that you will join us at that time. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado with the postgame show are standing by. You've been listening to Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.